Good evening, Hotfix Nation, and welcome back to Hidden Heroes. This is the Hotfix show where we aim to showcase speedrunners who are a part of underrepresented communities and the games that they're passionate about and that they want to show off. I am your host, Anarchy, and for tonight, with all the roulette and whatnot going on for Switch 2 pre-orders, it reminded me of when another console, way back when, dropped, and nobody could get their hands on it. The good old PlayStation 5. And because we all know that console, and by extension PlayStation, they only have like 5 games anyway, I figured we'd show off 3 of those OG PlayStation mascots on the show tonight. So up first, we are going to be having Spyro, Year of the Dragon from the Spyro Reignited trilogy run by Twinsanity, and then after that, we're going to have the Sag Bean running Ratchet and Clank 1, and then to end off our night, we are going to have Crash Twinsanity run by Kylie Kyubi. I really should have said PlayStation Nation when I started the intro, but you know, it's going to be a banger for her. I'm really excited. So for tonight, the shirt bit for today is actually my Frost Fatalis 2025 tour shirt, which came in the mail literally earlier today. I'm in love. It looks great. It's an awesome t-shirt. And I love a good event t-shirt, and it makes me very excited for what we'll see for Summer Games Done Quick. Before we get started, of course, Summer Games Done Quick 2025 will be live in Minneapolis from July 6th through the 13th. Register to attend the event by May 26th. Use !SGDQ in the Twitch chat or visit gamesdonequick.com for more information. Also, Games Done Quick is currently hiring. If you love creative work and have experience in planning and organizing, apply to be a prize assistant at our mainline events. Visit gamesdonequick.com/jobs by May 11th to apply. You've only got like 2 more weeks for that, so if you want to get your name in the running for that, get your applications in. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Twinsanity with Spyro Reignited Trilogy Year of the Dragon. It's the whole mouthful, but it's going to be great. I know he's going to knock it out of the park, so good luck and have fun.
Thank you, Anarchy, for the wonderful intro. And yeah, you're right, it is a mouthful. The full name, if you look at on the schedule, is Spyro Reignited Trilogy Year of the Dragon. Any percent, you know, we were joking about how this had a very Kingdom Hearts type name. So, but anyway, we just call it SRT3 for short. Hello, everybody. My name is Twinsanity, and thankfully, I'm not alone. Not only will I have the wonderful Anarchy hosting this entire show, but I also have one of the goats of this game, of this trilogy. Surf, how are you doing?
A lot better. Now I've just been described as one of the goats. Oh my lord. Thank you for the wonderful intro. How's it going, everyone? I'll be joining Twinsanity for comms today. Spyro Free 80% is one of my favorite categories. I will try not to talk your ear off, but there's a lot of tech we can talk about, and I'm really excited to see what Twinsanity has for show. They've been grinding really hard over the past year. Now they're really high up on the leaderboard, so this is going to be a quality run, I'll tell you that.
Yep, and hopefully I will hope to entertain all of you. So without further ado, actually, wait, wrong. There we go. Now we can start. Okay, counting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay,
Good luck.
Thank you. So the Reignited Trilogy was made about 8 years ago, which remastered from the ground up with Unreal Engine the original trilogy of PS1 games in the Spyro franchise: Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. We're going to be playing Year of the Dragon, the superior game. I don't know what if chat agrees with me or not. Sound off in chat if you agree. Sound off in chat if you don't agree. Just sound off in chat in general. So anyway, we are going to be starting off with collecting 100 eggs. That is our main objective, to fight the sorceress. And yeah, we already got one. It's not going to be that easy, but thankfully we got some really cool tech to kind of show off. Starting with this good old Amy skip.
Yes. Amy skip performed there using a wall glide. PC has wall glide mechanics unique to that, instead of on console, where unfortunately you've got to go all the way around, or something else a little special. What we'll need to do, once again, is wall glide our way up to reach this early egg known as Miles. As you can see, once we get into this position alongside the wall, give him a moment.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Past that point. Nice.
First time that's happened to me.
To the top. Look, it always happens in the marathon. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, okay, the main... But yeah, a lot of these... so the way it works in this game as far as progression goes is that there's 4 homeworlds with its own set of levels. To advance to the next homeworld, you basically have to collect what's known as the end of level egg, which is you basically get to the end of level, whether you talk to a certain NPC or you do a certain action like blame this Rhinoc, and boom, we already beat the level. Just like that. And we have to do this for every single level throughout the game throughout the run in order to advance to the next set of homeworlds. So that was 1. Every level has 4 homeworlds, 4 levels. But in addition to that, it's the gimmick of Year of the Dragon, which is the little animal buddies that are introduced. And let's get this perfect cover. There we go. Wonderful.
That is more difficult than it looks. The devs do not want you to be skipping past dialogues and intended routes, but as it happens on PC, with a lower FPS value, closer to the 30 margin, you get a slightly higher jump height, and that paired with perfect timing on your hover after a glide, lovely wall glide there, allows us to skip numerous parts of the level. This is another awesome wall glide. Really precise tapping into the wall there to ensure that we can maintain height and not auto hover, as it's known, where you'll touch the geometry in the wrong direction and break out of your glide. And we're already at the end of Cloud Spires.
Yeah, and we skipped like half of the level doing that. Funny enough, you actually can. The reason why we took this specific route is to get the that first egg that we got much faster. But technically, I could have actually gone to the end of the level from the very beginning. There are a lot of unintended perfect hovers and wall glides and boosted jumps that the developers were not intending on us using to skip most levels. And that's kind of the thing with, unlike, for example, Spyro 2 and Spyro 1, where you can skip a lot of levels. In Spyro 3, you're going to have to go through a lot of the levels in the game. However, we've been able to figure out really cool and creative ways to just skip almost playing the actual levels themselves. So already, we are, what are we at? We're already, 4 minutes in, and we're already a 10th of the way done through our 100 egg collection.
Yeah, it's no surprise that the early levels have been labbed extensively, and not only are the levels quite easy to navigate without too much difficult terrain, but having the option to cut through with wall glides and such lets us take the shortest path to each egg. And up to 11 already, we've got access to the Molten Crater portal, which, as you can see, it's got the 10 egg requirement on the door.
Yeah, and it's that's the other thing. It's not just being able to collect the 100 fastest eggs, but it's also figuring out the routing in terms of ensuring that we are able to meet the requirements. Because some of these eggs, some of these levels, they start to get a pretty high egg requirement. So we want to make sure that we can route out something that makes sense. Okay, I just hit invisible. Okay, we're just gonna ignore the fact that I just beat an invisible warthog, and even though there was nothing there, and I can tell it was an invisible enemy because we collected 2 gems out of it, even though there was none near it. We're just gonna ignore that for a second.
I reckon it's a good opportunity to mention that in terms of development time, Spyro 3 out of the trilogy had the least from the remaster, and occasionally we get some odd jank, and it really adds to the charm of it, in my opinion. But that is my Spyro 3 nostalgic bias showing.
Oh, you want to talk about, some funny stuff that probably would have been patched out if this game just had a little bit more time in the oven? Seashell Shores, probably containing my favorite trick in the entire run that allows us to be able to do something we are literally not allowed to do up to this point. So one thing about this level, sometimes we get some underwater sections, which is actually not a new thing in Spyro, but it's a new thing that we get from the very beginning. Because in Spyro 2, we are able to have the swim ability, but we have to buy it. And here, Spyro actually retains all of his abilities that he acquired from Spyro 2. So now, here comes the great Sheila out of bounds trick. First we get hit, and then boom.
Perfect.
That is so awesome.
And just like that, we are able to play as Sheila. Everyone say hello to Sheila. I mean,
Hi, Sheila.
Hello, Sheila.
I mean, who are you? We've never met this character before.
I believe you just kind of stood on the cage they were being held in as a mark of disrespect, and now they're just helping us for some reason.
Yeah. So this is the one. If I remember correctly, this is the one and only instance that we are able to kind of play as one of these like animal companions earlier than intended, because the way to access some of these characters is by freeing them, and by freeing them we have to pay a certain amount of gems to free Sheila, and we will have to play her level. Every animal buddy has their own dedicated level that we actually have to beat in order to advance to the next set of levels. We have to get 300 gems, and that's kind of the other main collectible of the game, is gems. So in Reignited 3Any%, we are able to route out things to the point where we only need 2,300 gems. Whereas I think in a casual playthrough, I think at minimum it can be like in the 4,000s, 5,000s.
That sounds about right. But to be honest, most people casually playing through the game are also looking to be completing most levels they go through. So by the time people reach the final homeworld, you're sitting at around 8,000, 9,000 gems.
So yeah, so right now we already have almost 400, which is kind of typical for me at this point. 396, actually not a bad gem count. We really don't worry about the gem counts at like this kind of level of speedrunning this game until we get to around the halfway point of the run. That's when we kind of start wondering, okay, where are we? Okay, do I have to get some extra gems or anything? And beautiful, come on. The one time I want a beautiful. Sparks, please get out of the way. Sparks, you're blocking my view, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Sparks was so excited to be here on Hidden Heroes that he just wanted to say hi to everyone on chat. You know, so everyone also say hi to Sparks because he's really, really excited. For anyone who doesn't know, Sparks is serves two functions. He is our health indicator, so he's at yellow, which means he's at perfect health, and Spyro can take 3 hits before dying. Blue Sparks, you can take 2 hits before dying. Green Sparks, 1, and then no Sparks means next hit you die. But he also collects gems. So if you notice, a lot of the gems kind of homing in on Spyro, that's actually Sparks collecting them. So we want to make sure that we at least have Sparks in some way, shape, or form, because that's the only way to kind of make sure that we're able to collect gems as opposed to Spyro physically actually touching the gems.
Yes, indeed. Well, we didn't really talk about Bluto, but Bluto the Rhinoc is one of the optional eggs from the route. One nice thing about the 100 egg category, I suppose, is since there are 49 eggs that we're skipping prior to the end game, we have our choice of which ones we include. And it was nice to see some good RNG from Bluto earlier. This will be the only speedway level we see Toronite do during the run. It's pretty useful to get that injection of 400 gems, but also, let's see how fast we're clearing through here. This is not a very long speedway compared to some of the others. This last part with the butterflies just got to alternate between the higher and the lower. Getting them up very nicely.
And 45.4
nice.
seconds. Not bad. That's pretty solid.
Onto UFOs, I believe.
Yep. And yeah, this is the every speedway level in this game. Also in Spyro 2, they have a special hunter minigame. And in this one, it's the fastest out of all. It's the fastest hunter minigame, thankfully. And it's just shooting down some UFOs. And beautiful. All right, good. UFO start.
That third one can be a little tricky to nab. You've just got to have like a visual in your mind, really, because they're all moving around on a set path, but it's not very clear how far away from the water they are. So I guess a lot of it's muscle memory too. And I know you've been grinding the hell out of this category. So
I can. When I first started this running this game literally 11 months ago. It's like almost exactly 11 months to the day my first PB in this game. And it wasn't even on the PC version. It was on the console version. I had so much trouble that I couldn't stop asking, please tell me there is an alternative to UFOs. But that entire Mushroom Speedway section could not have been better. Like, that was close to optimal as you could ask for. And just like that, we already free Sheila.
Nice, and still sitting on over 500 gems. And it shows the benefit of the Speedway early in the run. We used to put the Sheila unlock before Mushroom, but it just meant you had to pick up more unnecessary gems in these earlier levels. Because as we get further into the game, the level gem total increases by 100. So in the final homeworld, you'd be expected to get 700 gems per level. And that means the average value of each gem is much higher. And therefore, picking up additional gems early is not as optimal as we'd like. It tends to be an emergency situation.
But yeah, you kind of notice Sheila, her whole gimmick is essentially like more vertical type of platforming, which is funny considering that we're gonna play Sheila later on in the run, and it's entirely a side scroller with no vertical gameplay whatsoever. But that's supposed to be the main gimmick of this level, and thankfully Sheila's level is filled to the brim with gems. So we're gonna get a nice chunk of gems right now.
Oh, I like that. At the end there, using the ground pound to kill off the last enemy and the hut that they spawn from. If we kill the enemy first, there's a good chance that another one spawns. If you go for the hut on its own, well, then you have to waste time going to take out the Rhinoc. So a little optimization.
Yeah, so honestly, this has actually been a pretty solid start. All things considered, not a bad start to the run. And
which is worth noting, we're not done with the early game yet.
Here comes maybe like, for a lot of new runners, maybe kind of the first real sticking point in the speed run, which is the first boss called Buzz. I'm pretty sure we are not in danger of getting a cutscene crash. Pretty sure. Let's wait, and yeah, no, we're good. We're good. So it's funny. It's a funny little thing, funny little quirk. Actually, not so funny. The fact that if you menu too fast and selecting the next homeworld, the game actually soft locks itself, and you actually have to watch the entirety of the cutscene, and that's like 2 minutes of time lost RTA.
It's worth noting that the game on PC does not measure against RTA, thankfully. So even when a cutscene crash like that occurs, the run exists still. It's not completely over. However, it's not very fun. It's sort of like, well, I guess I'll have a toilet break now. I've got nothing else to do.
Yeah. You know, I'll walk my cats, and you know, I'll just have a
nice.
a nice little jaunty scroll. Oh, this will be interesting.
Okay.
And, okay, no, we're good. Oh, no! Oh, okay. You know what?
That was unfortunate.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad.
I can't hear it in your voice or anything.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And thanks, Buzz, for going the other, spinning the other way.
The reason that went sideways is Sheila kind of blocked Buzz, so he was able to turn a bit faster than he usually can, because standing by the edge is often the safest place against his recovery to stage. But in that case, it actually got us killed, and it's quite dangerous there because the only safe place is off the stage, and if you don't angle your glide exactly right, you get squished.
Yeah.
Not that that's ever happened to me.
Unfortunate that this is actually the first time I've died to Buzz in a... Actually, no, I think like the second time I've died to Buzz in a run in a hot minute. But it's fine.
You've got to get it out during the marathon. That's the only way.
Of course. We are at a blue spark, so I can actually save a little bit of time tank the hit here just to end the cycle. Because actually getting hit also interrupts that spin cycle that he does. So thankfully it's not something too worrisome if you get hit, but you still have green sparks. Because honestly, we're the fact that I'm on green sparks is actually not a concern for me at all. That's actually kind of what I want, the best I can hope for, because we're going to be doing something really interesting. Is the fact that we are going to, halfway through the next level, we're actually going to hit quit game on the menu, and then go hit continue game, because it's a routing time save, and it also brings sparks back to health, because that's another cool thing about the Reignited trilogy, is the fact that you can just quit game and continue like almost instantly, and Spyro would be at full health.
It's very minor time loss, but the perks of not only getting sparks back, but repositioning to spawn in a level are very useful for routing. For Enchanted Towers, we're going to go out of our way to grab this first egg, so we go right to the back corner of the level, whereas where we start is literally on the other side of the wall to where we want to end up, the end of level, where there's also a couple more eggs to grab. So what you'll see here after we glide across, take out this enemy, rescue Gladys and return to spawn, which is just quicker than continuing round the level the intended way, saving probably 5 seconds at the very least, maybe more.
And it's cooler because we get to show off a boosted jump to another instance of this is something the devs does not want us to do, but we were able to do it.
That was very nice. Always a scary one, that, because depending on the angle you take, if you fail it, you may just fall to your death, completely nullifying any advantage this trick may have gained you.
We get... Okay.
That's still very good gems.
Let's see. We are... I don't think I grabbed any of these 2 gems. Okay, so we're gonna be 783. Not bad. You know what? It's fine. It's not... The gem count is not something we're really worried about, but it's always good to just kind of keep track in the back of my head when counting. This is really... In terms of speedrunning, these next 2 eggs, it's actually a really cool thing, because these are in the original PS1 game. When you're going for like the 100 egg category in the PS1 speedrun of this game, you do not do these 2 eggs because they are incredibly slow. But one thing about the Reignited trilogy is the fact that you can skip a lot of cutscenes really, really quickly, and it's now to the point where it's actually very viable to do these tricks.
Yeah, the second of the eggs, which we'll see after we perform this cool little runoff. Very nice. This second egg on the original trilogy, you couldn't skip. You have to play it out for 2 minutes. And, oh, yeah, beautiful Raging Ripto there. As you can see, only about 5 seconds in, we've already got that second egg. And that means the average time taken for those 2 eggs is very efficient. Though we're not getting a lot of gems throughout, the egg total is at a very healthy point right now.
Yeah, and the gem count is, the first 2 set of homeworlds, we don't really worry too much about gems, because we still get, the gem values aren't still like amazingly high. It's not until we get to the 3rd set of homeworlds where we really put the pedal to the metal with with acquiring gems. Icy Peak, oh, this is gonna be a fun one. Icy Peak is maybe one of the coolest levels. Get it? Get it?
Oh.
Get it? Get it?
No.
Only speedrunner in history. I'm the only speedrunner to ever make that joke. But anyway, Icy Peak is a lot of really cool tricks that are like in fast succession, including this first one, which saves us just a couple of seconds. Oh.
Yeah, very nice. Once more, we need to sequence break quite a lot here. The devs wanted us to achieve this next egg last, but with that little perfect hover you saw before, getting up to the ledge early, we can now come on back, grab a few more gems as we go, and instead of going through the ice wall ahead of us, really interesting jump here, Maynard skip, perfectly done. It's more precise than it may look, and if it looks precise, well, that just says a lot. On our way now to the final 3 eggs of the level. This is one of the levels where we almost grab everything. There is one very slow egg, however, so we're just going to ignore that.
All right, we are, yeah. Just like, and the funny thing of that second egg that I got, actually no, the first egg that we got, again, as Sir said, that's a Devin tended. It's supposed to be the very last egg that we do in the level because you're actually supposed to go around the perimeter of the entire level. But thankfully, we are able to. That was done and
nice.
Boom.
Yeah, the thieves are a bit scary. That yellow thief, if you miss them there, chasing them is a pretty notable time loss. But it's really cool to be able to grab the red thief early. That's something I think most players found casually back in the day. Just to see them standing there in the open, you think, oh, seems you've left yourself a bit exposed there.
Hey, come on.
Okay, nice line up onto...
oh, my
here.
controller ate my... Thanks, controller. It ate my flame input. Oh, boy. That's fine.
Good recovery. It was fine. Yeah, but that's happened to pretty much everyone, I would say. Perfect flame charge does not exist.
Yeah, so now we are into our second animal buddy, Sergeant Bird. So I love Sergeant Bird. This has a lot of like lore implications as far as the plot with the level. So in this one, you kind of see at the bottom right hand at the corner just a second ago, there are 5 hummingbirds in this level. We have to rescue all 5 of them because they basically help out in our fight for the sorceress. And we kind of go through the entire level. You kind of see this is essentially his base, and we are trying to ensure that it is free from Rhinox because essentially the hummingbird serves as like the trainees. You see Sergeant Bird being like a little military type of character, and I love the way he kind of moves is unlike a penguin.
Floaty.
Very floaty, and just shoots unlimited rockets. I don't know where he stores all those rockets, but yeah, freeing the hummingbirds are a super important thing as far as getting through the game. And everything I just said in the last 60 seconds was a complete lie. You don't have to free a single hummingbird in this game. For whatever reason.
I still think he's floaty, but yes.
Yeah, you don't actually... Yeah, for whatever reason, the game makes you think... For like first-time players, at least for me, they kind of make it seem like, you have to free all 5 hummingbirds. No, you don't. You don't have to free a single one. In fact, all you got to do is just get to the halfway point of the level, and we're already done with that.
That's it. The way these levels are built is all about end-of-level egg, which is not necessarily right at the far point of a level. As we just saw, it's about halfway into one. And finding the shortest path to the end of level is sort of speedrunner MO for Spyro 3. There'll be a few... I'd say probably the next level has one of the coolest end of level skips in the run. But meanwhile, Spooky Swamp, we're just avoiding everything we can. Really nice glide earlier in the level. Here we have Felonious, one of the coolest dragon eggs. I think you'll all agree.
Fun fact.
Up onto the treetops now.
Yeah, fun fact. Any Shrek 1 fans out there, if you remember the big giant mask guy that was Lord Farquaad's right-hand man, that's his name. His name is Thelonious. So I don't remember what came first, this game or Shrek 1, but I like to think in my headcanon that the writers for Shrek 1 looked at Thelonious and I'm like, that's a cool name. We're going to use it in our movie.
Well, they did reference Spyro in Shrek 1. There's a dragon character, if you remember.
Oh, you know what? You're still right. You're still right. And as we know, Spyro is the first dragon ever.
Ever, yeah.
Oh, really? There we go.
Nice shot. Yeah, Pots is a pretty interesting egg. We're going to be able to time this. So the final fireball connects.
Oh, there we go.
During the cutscene, yes. Very nice. All right, I would love to talk a little bit about the upcoming wall glide.
Yes, shout out to Dylan J. Fox for essentially being the pioneer of this.
Yeah, he definitely found a lot of the tricks we still use in the run today. This wall glide here was a little too low, but we'll get back to that.
Say it with me, chat. That's never happened to me before.
That's the thing. You said the thing.
I said the thing.
I don't even have to talk about it. It's just beautiful to watch.
There we go.
Perfectly done. First try as well.
Yep. Yep. First try. All right. I'm actually going to need a little bit of something because I'm going to need an audio cue to kind of trap the next egg.
Cutting off the thief. Let's do it. There it is.
There we go.
Very nice. Not chasing them is such a great feeling. And I encourage anyone who's had a bad experience with that egg thief to try out that strat in your own time. There's a lot of catharsis that comes from just, you wanna go over there? You wanna get away from me? No, I'm trying to do a speedrun. So.
All right, and just like that, we are already done with the midday garden homework section. So essentially,
really
we're kind of already, we're kind of already essentially the halfway point. Let's see what this gym count is. 435. That's actually that's a decent gym count. You know what? I can live with that. I've had.
You didn't miss anything notable. If you're like within 5 or 10 gems of your preferred milestone, there's always a chance in Spyro 3 that you'll find the gems you're missing en route to your next objective. They are lying in the ground everywhere.
Yeah, the good thing is, like, even if I was like 20 gems below what I have, it's still not a major concern because the next set of levels have so many high value gems that it's not a big issue. All right, here it comes. Let's see, RNG, please. There we go. That's one. So Spike is a 3-phase fight where we get, can I still make this?
Maybe.
Yes, that was close. That was way too close for comfort. So that first phase was, you kind of see me charging through those rocks. That is where those rocks land on the battlefield, completely RNG. And there's nothing you can do about it if you get like a bad rock placement. But thankfully, that's only for the first phase. The second phase is much more manageable because now it's essentially kind of like a global timer with Sergeant Bird throwing these projectiles. And a Spike is made so much easier in Reignited, although he still can be really hard, especially if you don't get like a good first phase. See if I can get the early whirly. There we go. Yep, that should do it. Yeah,
I'm glad you talked about how compared to the original trilogy, this fight is much easier. There are numerous instances in this game where it becomes clear when the devs were building up Reignited off the framework of the original game, they did so on what was known as the easy mode. And I can't remember the exact parameters that determine whether you're playing the original trilogy on easy or hard mode, but certainly there are enemies you might see on some playthroughs that you won't see on others, and that might be down to how many times you've died, how long you've spent on certain levels. And in this game, it was all made on easy, and levels like Cloud Spires would definitely should have more enemies in them had it been used of the exact same difficulty framework.
Yeah, no. So in the original, for a lot, you see a lot of speedruns of OG PS1 Spyro 3. That Spike fight is significantly harder because one, he has way more health. It takes 3 hits to get to the next phase, so in total he has 9 HP.
Lovely parkour there, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just that good, I'm just that
humble too.
You said it, not I. So clearly it's true. So in the PS1, the hard mode version of Spike is also way more aggressive with the way he shoots.
Ooh, this wall glide, yes, really nicely done. Just being able to tap into the wall a few times there lets us keep our height. Failing it is very punishing because you obviously have to return to the start. And in case you missed it, when Toronite performed the parkour over the ice wall, he killed the larger of the 2 enemies. So if he fell down there, the only way through is to go into the laser room, which is going to lose us more time. So really nice wall glide to ensure that doesn't happen.
All right, here comes 2 of my favorite, and really the community's favorite eggs in this entire game. We saw one of my favorites, Thelonious. Now here comes another fan favorite, Stubby. Everyone's chat say hi to Stubby.
Hi, Stubby.
Hi, Stubby.
And now this first egg that we're about to encounter, I would say arguably is
Iconic.
probably the most famous egg in the entire game. It's the only, I think it's the only game, it's the only egg in the game that has a speedrun category named after it. Not gonna spoil it, you'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, noodles! Everyone say hi to noodles.
Hi,
Yeah.
noodles.
There is an actual category called noodles percent, which is literally how fast can you get to noodles. That's it.
So is this a PB? Can you inform us
Oh,
if
no,
this is a
not-
PB for you?
No, that's not even close.
Oh,
This is whoa. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why the cutscene did not trigger. Anyway, but yeah. Also, this is like a horrible route for noodles. I mean, like I had to go to. I went through Mushroom Speedway. I mean, like what was that with some of the stuff I'm doing?
I'm looking forward to seeing Noodles percent next year.
Oh, that'll be good.
We
Okay,
have Sam skip here. Gonna use the bomb from the enemy. Get a
Nice.
damage boost. Yeah, perfect. Can't really ask for anything better there. And missing it first try gets a whole lot more complicated when that large enemy starts moving again. So first try, pretty important. All right, we're already basically halfway through
I would say
Evening
more than
Lake.
that. Oh, for Evening Lake. Yeah, I was going to say, so you're falling pretty behind. We were halfway through like 6 minutes ago.
My stream's lagging. I don't know.
Well, you know what? You're gonna have to fix that, dude. Like, come on. This is Hidden Heroes. We need to be on our A game.
Could I get an emergency tech check, please?
All right, here comes maybe the most frustrating level, arguably, in the entire game. Some people
I would
like
agree
to
with
call Charmed Ridge Cursed Ridge. And hopefully, I don't get to show off why it's called Cursed Ridge.
No, I really think it's important.
Yeah.
It's,
But yeah, no, it's no, this is a really cool level if everything goes well. So obviously, starting off with you basically go for the level normally. The first real trick is this really kind of weird wall glide. No, not that. This kind of weird wall glide that we're about to do that actually was not possible in the PS1 version. But here, we actually get to do it. And perfect. First try. And get to this egg already. High-level PS1 speedruns of the games have a different way of being able to execute that getting that egg, but okay. Come on. There we go.
nice. Difficult ladder movement there. You got to pull away from the ladder and prepare your glide. See straight away. I'm going to let Toronite focus for this bit. We have a lot to do with this fireball power-up in not much time. Got all these enemies to kill. We're going to snipe this guy holding the drawbridge.
Any
Also
NBA
snipe
fans
the
out
enemy.
there? Because Curry.
Oh,
Curry. We went 3 for 3.
that's good. I like that. No, really nicely done. Dying in this section, it feels terrible because all of the enemies come back, and again, the ones holding drawbridge and the platforms are necessary kills if you're trying to get through quickly. Otherwise, you need just really insane movement.
Okay, game. Active clear for a second.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Oh,
Yeah, these are perfect hovers if it wasn't clear, where actually Toronite will do a glide in place, and the moment that they're able, they're going to press the hover button. If they do it too fast, the hover doesn't come out, you just fall to the ground. That's also, if you don't basically stall the change in height, you're not going to be able to reach what you want. That's why you see him kind of defer off to the side in each case, and this is the hardest of them. He nails it first try.
that was a little.
Perfect hovers break this
that
game.
was a little bit too close for comfort, if I'm being perfectly honest.
You're not supposed to admit that.
Yeah, that's no. You're gonna just go to show how clutch I am, even on the difficult ones. I can get clutch with it. Ah, no cutscene glitch. There's actually a really funny that I don't think we've really figured out the answer, but that little drawbridge cutscene, there is a way the game decides just randomly to skip that, and it saves us like a second and a half. Really cool for grinding out gold splits in this level. But overall, you know what? Not bad as far as charmed bridges are concerned. Not bad.
Without a notable mistake, that's essentially all you can ask for. Is this tends to be one of the levels where at this point in the run, if you've been playing really well, you might be on pace. The nerves start to hit, and because all these enemies can attack really early, they've got good hit stun. Some of them have iframes as well. It can be a lot if you don't get through smoothly. But we're going into Lost Fleet, which also has another large hurdle for the run.
Oh,
look forward
and
to
Surf's
that.
not saying that like, come on. Surf's not saying that metaphorically. It is literally the largest hurdle of the run. I will show it off in a second. You see that little that giant wall? Boom. Oh no! I covered too early.
So close, mate. So close.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's honestly not that bad of a time loss, if I'm being honest.
I just do end of level and go for it again. So
Yeah.
just how precise that is. So what I was actually inferring was the subs egg, which we will also be visiting just after this.
At least
Very nice.
thankful.
And then
At least the one good thing, if you are on a run and you're really low on gems, and you just missed that jump, like I did, just to kind of show off this route. No other reason. Off the goodness out of my heart.
100%.
You get an extra like 30 something, 40 something gems. So if you're on below your gem count, I hate that this game, the hitboxes are inconsistent because I did not hit that shark tooth. Check the replay, folks. I did not hit that shark tooth.
we'll get the replay.
Yeah, so I get the nice little picture-in-picture thing. All right, here comes subs. So all of these subs, I hit it a little bit too early. That's fine. That's the second one is the least consequential one to miss.
Nice no scope there. The big thing about this is we prefer to not wait for the free rings to light up. It's a lot better if we can essentially no scope. That was a good final shot as well. But we're not going for subs too, and I respect that. You did blue toe earlier, which allows us to skip one of the hardest eggs, which technically very optimal when done right, but you're only going to see that at a near world record level on a consistent basis. What do we have next time, mate?
We have. Let me be specific to the wording. The last animal buddy that we will free. There is another animal companion that we could free. Spoiler warning.
But why don't we? Okay, well, that's a bit ominous.
Listen, we can't. We're just here to collect eggs. We're not here. We're already doing like too much. We're already punching above our weight by freeing Sheila and Sergeant Bird and our next animal companion, Bentley the Yeti. There's one. The one really funny thing about these cutscenes that we skip, and obviously it's a big time loss RTA wise if we actually let these cutscenes play through. But every single one of these cutscenes, that bear Moneybags, he basically is he's the one that captured all of them and is keeping them in the cages, and we basically bribe him to set them free. Every single cutscene that he plays, that we free someone new, it gets progressively funnier with how the animal, with how each side character basically responds to Moneybags, and it's like, hey, I freed you. I should get thanks. You don't thank Spyro, thank me also. Sheila kicks Moneybags off break. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sheila kicks Moneybags off frame. Sergeant Bird throws a rocket at Moneybags, and then Bentley, with his giant club, beats up Moneybags. And then Moneybags proceeds to tell him, do you want me to hit him again? And one more time, and Spyro says, at least, and then just proceeds to beat him again with the giant club. And believe me, any veterans of this game, Moneybags deserves it. He is a very greedy bear who has basically been our main obstacle for 2 games at this point. Because it's also a real big roadblock in many instances in Spyro 2.
It's funny that we talk about moneybags holding us up and providing these pay gates, because now that we're done with Bentley's level, which is a bit resident sleeper, we've finally got to the end of it.
Gonna get another fodder.
Sure, respectable. We're now going into our 3rd boss fight, which, if done correctly, will also allow us to skip one of these massive pay gates and completely break open the level afterwards. If you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm not joking when I say this. This next trick is probably one of, it's up there in terms of pressure points, one of the most difficult things to execute when you add in the nerves and you add in the point of the run and the potential time loss if you do not get this right. Rocket storage. So, the way rocket storage works is, in this next fight, Bentley will throw 2 kinds of rockets, a green rocket and a red rocket. The game does not tell you this, but there's actually an internal inventory that Bentley will have. 4 green rockets and 2 red rockets. The objective here is to hit Scorch on the same frame roughly as Bentley throwing out a green rocket. And to do so, and to make sure that it works, beautiful. We want to see that first, a red rocket, because red rockets and green rockets do actually the same amount of damage, except red rockets give us 50 ammo, and I'm gonna get this one because I don't want to run the risk of it spawning out. Because after a while, they do kind of spawn out, and you do not want to be dealing with that. And all right, nice start.
I might take over whilst you focus on this. As previously mentioned, this is a very timing-sensitive trick. It was found a few years ago by Sabaris about this inventory and how leaving certain rockets on the field will increase the odds of Bentley throwing what we need to perform the trick. At the moment, we're still waiting on a second red. That's okay.
That's fine.
We'll see what he throws next. But also, worst case, we can just pick up the greens that he's thrown. Because it's like a 2 in 3 chance that he throws a green when there's no manipulation happening. Give him a moment.
Here comes Buzz, probably. Oh, okay. Scorch is actually being very generous here. Because one of the eggs that can throw out at this point is Buzz, the first boss of the fight. Wow, this is really generous.
This is great because now both reds are on the field. He's going to wait for Bentley to stop.
A
little bit late. That's okay. But if you can see the idea there.
Yeah.
The next question is, do we try again?
Let's go for the backup. Let's go for the backup, just in case.
The reason for us doing the backup is obviously we've got an estimate we want to try and reach. In a speedrun setting, when that trick fails, the run basically would die if that's part of your route. But it was found that this whole idea of storing a projectile exists in another boss fight, which thankfully we've already done. So we'll be visiting them very shortly.
So want to make sure that we actually land here, and then we go all the way back to Spike. So let's all say hi to Spike again.
Hi, Spike.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Spike, you were so generous last time out. Oh boy.
And this is what we dislike about Spike.
Here comes there's the RNG I've known to hate. Oh boy. Also bad RNG placement. There we go. Yeah.
Never a doubt.
Yeah, so basically we are going to do the fight exactly how we did before, with one exception. We are going to actually wait on the last hit and have Sergeant Bird throw an additional projectile. This is a way more consistent method, but obviously you lose just a little bit of time and compared to actually getting Rocket Storage first try. But either way, it's still a really cool thing to show off because it essentially accomplishes the same end result. So now we have that first hit. So now Sergeant Bird's gonna drop a purple rock. We're gonna grab it, but we're not gonna fire.
Wow, that was really clean dodging on the fire and
I ultra instinct out of that one. I'm impressed with myself on that one.
We're keeping an eye on Bird. He's dropped it, so we wait.
Oh, that's terrible placement.
You got this. You got this.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah, there's a little bit more freedom to then pick up the projectile we need. I don't know if it's actually more time. It feels like more time. But also, we know exactly where it dropped because of us watching Bird circle the arena and then drop in position. Whereas Rocket Storage, we didn't get to see, but the placement on the field can feel a bit more random. So had Toro and I got Rocket Storage before, we would have been gushing about it probably for the next 5 minutes because there is so much that has to go right. And you will see the majority of top level runs now have this trick. So much as the category developed that it's not as much of an RNG fest as we used to believe, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
No, it's a trick that so many people have had trouble. Even high level runners, even Serve, like who's held the record of this category so many times. It is such a very difficult trick to execute. Like you can go days or weeks. You can go so many runs without actually hitting it once. And it's a very streaky trick. But thankfully, we have this backup strategy developed, and like I said, it's way more consistent. So now,
I'm glad we can move on from my failed history of Rocket Storage.
Yeah, no, well, I'm just saying. Okay, fine. I can point out my failed history.
No, that's fine. We're moving on.
But yeah, anyway, so it may not look like anything has changed. We are actually. Let's see if I can skip having to talk to Bianca and perfect.
Nice. Yeah, we only saw Bianca once, and that was at the start of Evening Lake, where there's no possible way to skip her dialogue. But aside from that, Toro Knight's just been saying nope to the plot. We know what the goal is.
Oh, come on.
Here we go. Purple Rock has now replaced our Flame Breath, and we can snipe this beef in the plane, which will warp us to the island in the middle, giving us access to Super Flight. And we have now completed the level, basically. We're at the end already. We didn't have to pay money bags. It's awesome.
Yeah, we would have to pay 1,000 gems, which we do not have. Lord, no. We still have another 300 gems to have to pay money bags at the end of the run.
But they're very easy to grab in contention because obviously we're running through these levels where every other gem is a 5 or a 10.
And
beautiful. Now we have to ensure we speak to this enemy as it doesn't spawn in some of the whirlwinds if you don't. So then worst case, we have to go through the level the normal way. And then again, we'll need those 1,000 gems we don't have.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. Go ahead.
And this next egg, not this one, this next egg is actually a much harder egg than it sounds because hitboxes kind of go way beyond what the physical layout of the level shows. So got that pretty easy peasy, no problemo right there.
Honestly, I was shaking because it looked like you went quite wide, but I appreciate the reasoning behind it. You did clutch it with the hover at the end though, so good job.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Dude, he's
been playing the game for years.
Yeah, no, I've been running this game a whole 11 months. So,
100%.
get on my level, which you already did. So,
all right, let's keep going. We got Haunted 2 now. This is an awesome trick known as Torch Jump. People hate it, but it is really, really crucial to sequence breaking this level.
Wow,
Give you a moment to get your lineup. The torch hitbox is very small, and it's only on one side.
Wow, did the game patch midway through this run?
Nope, sorry, it's just a marathon moment.
Okay.
That's all good.
There we go.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
This is one of those tricks that compounds if you've missed it. The thought of, I'm going to miss it again, just replays in your mind. And, there's no other real factors aside from that enemy off the screen. It's just purely about timing the perfect hover and landing on a very small pixel. It's so worthwhile, even, I don't know how many tries that was, but we're still going to be passing through this level much quicker thing going the intended way, which requires all these doors to open, pretty annoying enemies to take out with projectiles. Now, the tanks minigame, lots of vehicles in Spyro 3, as well as side characters. Variety is the spice of life. And we're going to try and snipe the enemies far away without needing to get near them. You see how he almost curves that shot around?
Come on. Oh, okay, fine.
It's all good.
We still have two more chances.
Strafing is tough.
We have 2 more chances at really cool snipes. Come on.
Just got to commit to the turn.
Oh, no!
It's alright.
Oh no.
Cool,
So
the game crashed.
let's just say that Haunted 2 has been known for this.
Let's restart the game again.
That's
Unbelievable.
unfortunately perfect, but
Worst
I'm so sorry.
timing ever. Oh, I've never had a do we have to go through tanks 1 again? We have to go for tanks 1.
Maybe. We'll see.
That's fine. Tanks 1 is super easy. And thankfully, at the very least, when we go through we don't have to start Haunted Tomb again at the start at the spawn point, but the game autosaves after every egg. So thankfully, we don't have to go for torch jump again. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that, but let's wait and see.
Yeah. So, wow, unbelievable. I'm hoping. I've never actually... Because usually when this happens, I usually just... All right, GG, you win game. Oh, no, I do have to do it again.
We're committed. We're committed.
We are committed for the long run. There is technically another egg that we could have tried... That we could try to get as an alternative at this point, but it would kind of be roughly the same point.
I'm going to quickly interject to ask, when you're in the next load screen, could you share your Discord again, please, Tornek?
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, not important. I know what's coming up, but I don't want to be
thankfully, the audience can still see.
Hopefully
the audience can still see.
I'll just start typing in chat. It's all good.
Let's see if I can get a snipe. Nope. And right now,
tanks is actually quite difficult because you've obviously got.
There we go. We got a snipe there.
Good job, man. I see actually quite a few PC runners like to use mouse and keyboard for this because you can take slightly sharper turns and your aim can be a little more precise, which lets you go around the these kind of vases.
All right, let's see.
Thank you for bringing that back.
But yeah, no. Boy, what an eventful marathon run of this game. All right, let's see. Let me.
Shoutouts to Ray for the help. Thank you.
Are good.
Oh yeah, shout out there. Oh yeah, I guess you were all able to see my.
I'm fine, mate. You carry on.
All right, we're good. I really still cannot believe that happened.
I feel like we're just getting to show all of SRT's colors today. Not a perfect game by any means, but we run it because it's fun. And because there's a heap of cool things you can do. So as long as you go into the game with an accepting mindset that things are going to be weird sometimes, you'll have a good time. For sure. But still, it's always been a fun little trek for this game. Guff and all. But yeah, no. One cool thing, just kind of talk a little bit more on a personal basis. This game. Nice dino jump. Thank you. I've started, as I mentioned, I started like this game 11 months ago on the console version. I didn't start running the PC version, which I am running on until late last summer. And it really is kind of like night and day, a lot of the stress between console and PC. But now it's, I'm kind of proud, like, not to pat myself on the back, but like, I'm pretty proud of the way of the progression in these 11 months. It kind of goes to show that, like, if you want to pick up this game speedrunning wise, it's
the skills floor is really not that high. Like anybody can run this game, anybody. And that's really one of the things I love about Spyro in general, because I think with Spyro, whether it's a PS1 version, whether it's Reignited, whether it's like all the other games in between, is the fact that anybody can run it. And it's a super fun game. So many different ways you can play this. And just shout out to the entire Spyro community. It's been a great time. One of the best speedrunning communities I've ever come across, for sure. And in fact, I've even adopted something from the PS1 Spyro community that I'm currently in the middle of right now, which is the 10K challenge, which so it's a lot of some runners is PS1, Spyro 2, and Spyro 3. Especially last year, we're doing something called a 10K, which is, in Spyro 2's case, you do 100 runs of 100%. And part of the aim is to be able to do as many runs, try to improve that PB. And it's kind of proven that, you do those 100 runs, you're gonna get better. Spyro 3, you do 100 runs of 100 egg. And I'm doing my own little spin on it, which is 100 runs of this game, which, we collect 100 eggs, you do it 100 times, 100 times 100 is 10K if my second grade math is correct.
I can confirm that your second grade math is correct.
Okay, but just to be on the safe side, Chad, is my math correct? It's 100 times 100, 10,000.
You don't trust me. Unbelievable.
Well, listen, it's always good to have multiple sources. I'm just saying. This marathon run here on GDQ is actually run number 44 in my 10K. My PB at the start of the 10K was like, with load remove times, was I want to say, I think it was like a 46:57 or 53. And I've gotten it down. I PB'd, by the way, 7 times during these 44 runs. And I've gotten it down to 45:17, which I actually said just a few days ago, believe it or not. Actually, it's funny. Anarchy sent me a DM, and I maybe moments before I actually execute, I actually hit the PB, which is
Anarchy luck, I guess.
I don't know if it was intentional, but I will call it like a nice little blessing in all this.
It was intentional, by the way.
So we're, by the way, that was Desert Ruins. Not really a whole lot to that one. Not gonna go for the early case.
I would disagree. Desert Ruins has a lot of cool things, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of things like getting, like damage boosting up the waterfall and being able to. Well, here's the thing. If you notice, we've never actually got to the end of the level. So that's really where. There's a reason why we did that, or have not done that. Gone to the end of the level, and you're gonna find out in 2 seconds. We're actually gonna go back. We're actually going to go back to Desert Ruins and collect egg number 99.
That's the one.
There we go.
And it's another example of how Enchanted Towers kind of works, where the spawn is, you can kind of split away from it, take 2 different paths. And though it's not the end of the world if you do both in the same run through, it's slightly more optimal to do it this way. Plus, it means we're now in position to grab egg number 100.
Yep. Hopefully, let's see if I can get this underestimate. The final time should be given like a massive asterisk for that cutscene crash. By the way.
I gotta say, regardless of how the sorceress goes, to be this close to estimate after a game crash and after failing rocket storage, which wasn't really on you because it's extremely difficult. This is an extremely good run, especially in a marathon setting. So commendations to you.
Yeah. So let's see what happens. It's actually still not in. It's still not it's still not dead as far as getting underestimate. It's gonna need the sorceress to really, really behave and give me.
Talk about it then. We've got 3 phases coming up.
by
As
the way, this
previously
is our
mentioned,
fourth-
there's a lot of vehicles.
By the way, that's the 4th side character that we never freed, Agent 9.
Oh.
How'd you get out of your cage? By the way, answer your question, why we didn't free Agent 9. He can do it himself. You know, he's a big boy. He can
The
do it
cage is too
himself.
big. Slips through the gaps.
Come on.
We're getting started here with a cannon phase. So once the fireball attack comes out, we're going to see
you
if we
stopped
can
your
land 2
run.
hits.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's fine. We get another one.
Wow, these run
Sometimes
cycles are a
they're
little
more
bit weird.
predictable than others.
Yeah, this run cycle. Normally, she's supposed to run all across the ring, but she stopped herself short, which is pretty unusual. But that is fine.
Marathon lock.
Yeah, but now the next phase comes in the form of tanks. It's honestly probably the easiest one because all you got to do is if you get one snipe, there we go. It's gonna chase you.
Good shot. Very nice.
Really? Hello? Now, there we go. See? Easy peasy.
Oh, this is going to be really close. All right, UFO coming up.
Oh, we got
One of the hardest to control.
That's fine. And there we go. Ah, beautiful. Good first hit. Nice. Okay, admittedly, I was a little bit playing it too close to the fire right there. And time is coming up now. There we go. Boom.
GG.
GG's.
All right. Game crashing notwithstanding, not a bad run. Not a bad run. I was able to show off a lot of the cool stuff throughout the run. I'm really happy I showed up AB Skip first try. That was one of the biggest. AB Skip literally the first trick of the run. And I'm so glad I was able to do it first try. A lot of really cool stuff, and I'm glad we were able to show off here. I couldn't be more thankful to Sir for coming on here. I would say that it's super late where he is, but it's not. It's like noon or whatever in Australia land.
This time it works for me. So yeah. I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much for inviting me on, friend. I had a great time. And you have come a long way in this past year. I look forward to seeing how the 10K challenge ends up.
Yeah, it's the 10K challenge really has been pretty good for me. Pretty good for me. Just make that game crash. I cannot believe it. It happened on this run of all runs.
It's a funny thing, Spyro.
It's quite in terms of recovery, at least you had done the end of level by that point, and at least SRT remembers the level you were in, so you can just go back into it. Auto-saving saves the day.
Yeah.
So now that you're done saving the world,
but yeah, that is the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I hope you all enjoyed it. The community, like I said, one of the best communities in speedrunning, in my opinion. Just the overall Spyro speedrunning community. And yeah, and if you like what you saw, and trust me, and I've been doing a lot of runs of this category as of late on my Twitch at Tornite, and like I said, in the middle of the 10K challenge, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. But I also run stuff like Pokemon trading card game, Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color, Ghostland Yard, just a bunch of other stuff. If variety is your cup of tea, that's the end of my spiel, of my my little promo.
Is that true,
It's all
Billy?
good, man. I have definitely taken a bit of a backseat to speedrunning this game recently, but I pretty much only play Spyro Reignited Trilogy over on my Twitch. So if you would like to check out more of this, that'll be surf_SRT.
You didn't hear anything from me.
I'd just like to close out by saying thank you so much to Anarchy, Ray, and everyone at GDQ for letting us showcase one of our favorite categories from our favorite games. and best of luck with the remainder of the event.
Yeah, Anarchy, again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to showcase this game. It was such a pleasure meeting you at AGDQ back in January. Like, seriously, Anarchy is such a lovely person, and I'm so glad I was able to actually meet Anarchy for the first time at AGDQ. So with SGDQ coming up, hopefully I get to see all of you at SGDQ coming up.
Thank you both so much. Game Crash notwithstanding, that was an amazing performance that I'm so glad I got to watch. But we are going to take a quick wellness break right now. So make sure you all hydrate, you use the restroom, you stretch, get a sweet treat, go for a little walkie poo, whatever you got to do. And we will be back with more Hidden Heroes soon. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this PlayStation Nation episode of Hidden Heroes. My name is Anarchy, and we are back for part 2 of 3 of our evening of OG PlayStation mascot heroes. Before we get started, I do want to say that GDQ's AAPI celebration will be live on May 3rd and 4th. Celebrate AAPI Heritage Month with a full weekend of Asian and Pacific Islander speedrunners. Use !AAPI in the chat for more information. Also, for our Hotfix enjoyers out there, go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to check out this season's lineup and check out the schedule for an in-depth look at this week's runs. Speaking of the schedule, this will be the last episode of Hidden Heroes that is going to be on Monday at 10 p.m. We will be moving next week. We're going to have a bit of a doubleheader. Hidden Heroes will now be on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on the opposite every other week. Yeah. But without further ado, we've got some more PlayStation Nation games for us. I want to introduce the Saj Bean, who's going to be running Ratchet & Clank, a new game plus. Good luck and have fun.
All right. So, am I live now?
Yep, you're good.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My name is the Saj Bean, or if you want, you could just call me Alex. I'm known for speedrunning plenty of games. I've speedrun Lego games, God of War, Crash Bandicoot, and of course, Ratchet & Clank series. So I'm mainly a runner of Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal and Ratchet Deadlocked, but today we'll be doing the first game in the series. So I decided for fun, I'm going to be doing a hand cam, but to keep smiles and positive spirit all around, I got a friend right here. So timing will start when you gain control of Ratchet. So I will count down from 3, 2, 1. And when I say go, you can start the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go. So this is the first planet, Velden. And already, you're going to kind of notice that we are doing a lot of unintended movement. Oh, marathon luck. We already taken a death. It's fine though. So, So this right here is the Walloper. It's a decent weapon. It's pretty powerful against smaller enemies. It locks you in an animation, and at first that kind of just does nothing. But if we were to play an in-level movie, we're able to break out of this animation. Hold on. I have to do a little backup track there. So we're able to break out of that animation, and we can keep the speed from it and convert it into a bunch of other moves. So right now we don't really have much in the way of movement, but on the next level, Kerwan, we're gonna unlock something that really breaks the game even more. So this is the planet Navalis. We're still going to be using Walloper tech. This is the first instance of a Ratchet & Clank series staple where the levels are kind of designed in a way that they loop around, and this allows us to just get to the end of a level from the beginning. Right there, I did kind of mess up a strat. I wanted my Rhino to only hit 2 of those robots instead of 3, so that I could hit the third one while I was on my way back to this elevator. Only loses a few seconds. So now we've cleared up the first 2 levels. We're going to be on to Planet Kerwan. So Planet Kerwan is a much longer... since I saw it in the chat, this is New Game Plus. We have all the weapons and whatnot. So the sole purpose of this run is to just get to the end, as opposed to something like any percent where you also have to worry about collecting bolts and whatnot. So Kerwan start is like kind of divided into two. The first half is the same wall of bird tech that you've been seeing for the first 2 planets so far, but halfway through we purchase an item called the Helipack, and that has its own set of movement that you'll hopefully get to see very soon. So with the PDA, you're able to just chain jumps infinitely. If you're holding, if you hold L2 or L1. Cutscene there was a little delayed, so this planet is kind of prone, at least in my opinion, in my experience, to dropping inputs or having like things that will just generally throw off your rhythm. So this is quite a heavy reset point for me and a few other people. And now I'm gonna quickly focus because I want to keep the chain here to show off something cool. I messed it up, that's okay. Marathon luck. So as you can see, the Helipack is really broken. If you hold neutral as you input multiple long jumps, you casually build up speed. And as you can kind of see, I'm trying to do a technique where it looks like Ratchet stutters in like the air. That's just called the mid-air long jump. So it allows us to create movement chains. Looks really cool. This is train skip. If you get hit during this animation, you will unlock control of Ratchet, and you can just move around. It saves a couple seconds, but it's a little bit tough to navigate because for the first few seconds you can't really see Ratchet that well. I rely on the beam of this weapon, the Tesla Claw, to guide me through. So there I just got my infobot. So the way you progress through the game is by collecting infobots, which just unlock more planets. It shows a little video of the planet you're about to go to, and Ratchet and Clank kind of talk about if they should go there or not. And that'll be important for the middle of the game, where I'll explain some very interesting stuff. So now that we've gotten past 3 somewhat chaotic and really difficult planets, we get something much easier. So going back to the idea on Navalis of the end of the levels at the beginning, this is the shortest planet in the game. If you want to learn one skip in Ratchet 1, just throw the decoy glove where you saw me throw it, and boom, you've just completed the entire level.
That is so cool.
So, yeah, let's see. Next up is the Blarg Station. So the Blarg Station, again, it's more decoy clips. Every Ratchet game has like an item that throws something out, and that item will have a hitbox, and that hitbox just pushes Ratchet in. It's kind of a staple of speedrunning that you can just clip out of bounds really easily. I haven't seen a game where that isn't possible. Anyways, so to collect this infobot, we have to do 2 decoy clips. This first one has a really specific setup, but I hit it pretty much like every time. So it'll be a little... Okay, I got it, nice. This one is a little finicky. It's not difficult, I just tend to miss it a lot. And I got it first try, nice. Now this, I can't really explain. This is called Pod Warp. I go inside that little submarine, and I play an in-level movie. I press triangle while that movie is like playing, and I just warp to where I started. I don't know why that happens. It just works like that. If I wait long enough, I'd actually be teleported to where the pod would end up. So yeah. Now right here, I'm gonna let this technique speak for itself before I explain it. Yeah, so that's just something you can do in the game. It's not that easy, and if you want to run this game, you know, if you try and learn that technique, or it's a partner technique, which I'm going to explain in a moment, and you will see in a moment. Oops. That's fine. What you just saw is going to be quite the... You're going to get yourself into quite a rabbit hole trying to learn this. So the technique that you're seeing, you're going to see, it comes from a technique called infinite long jumps, where on certain liquid surfaces, you can just chain side flips into long jumps. over and over infinitely. The variation you saw is one called Cineflips, where you're just chaining side flips together. The name Cineflips comes from the fact that a very close friend and respected runner of the community, Cine, found it. So these are ILJs. ILJs are more so for distance, while Cineflips are more so for height. So also, I went into the mud there to activate something called Ghost Ratchet, which does one of two things. One, it removes Ratchet's speed cap. So if you were to watch an any percent run, you'd kind of notice that the ILJs on Umbrus look a little slower compared to New Game Plus. That is because of the speed cap. And two, it allows Ratchet to go through walls for about 3 minutes. So you did kind of see me use that to quickly death abuse. Now here's Battalia. Battalia is an awesome planet. I hope I can do it correctly. It's just a bunch of helipack movement chained together. Very nice display of Ratchet 1 movement. So... oh my goodness, I actually did it.
Goat, that's my goat.
Yes, okay. A little fumble there, but no one's gonna, be upset about that. So, that, I actually can't believe I hit that, because I have been struggling to, hit the chain correctly these past few days of runs, so to actually get it at the marathon, I've messed up a couple things, but I'm at least happy to have hit that. That'll be my main takeaway, that I managed to hit that. So we do have to go to this other side to get the info bot for a planet called Gaspar. It's really far away, so usually you would do some helipack chains from where I got the other info bot. But there are a couple backup chains that you can begin, and all you need to do to complete them is just some more infinite jumps. So yeah, you've kind of gotten a taste of what Ratchet can do now. But this game is not just called Ratchet. Save that for the 4th entry, This is Ratchet and Clank. So I'm going to planet Orxon. This planet is really toxic. The air you can't breathe this air if you're an organic life form, because it's really polluted. So Clank has to be sent on his own to explore the planet. And you might be thinking, okay, well, I don't really think anything that interesting is going to be able to happen here. What could you possibly do with Clank? If I can punch in the right spot, you can do quite a lot. And yeah, I just skipped the entirety of the Clank section. So I used an in-level movie to clip into those pipes, and then punching in a particular spot just launches Clank into the air for some reason. What benefit does having the game in Spanish give? Nothing. That's just what my PS3 language is set to. Gaspar is a very simple planet. You have one objective, and that's to get the pilot's helmet. And then Pokitaru, which is the planet afterwards, is also it's quite a different planet. Some people, it used to be called an auto stroller. Some people probably still would call it that today. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm actually going to take this time to quickly explain a bit of a really important Ratchet 1 history. So there's actually 2 info bots on Orxon. There's one that unlocks the planet Hoven, but there's also the one for Pokitaru, which is the one that I collected. We found out a long time ago. Also, thank you to the person complimenting my pants, my Boba Fett pants. So a long time ago, we found out that you can collect the Hoven info bot as Clank, which would skip several planets. But we had to figure out first how you would actually collect the info bot. We used some kind of cheat tools or whatever to make sure that all this routing would be worth it. And yeah, so we know that you can collect the info bot as Clank. So for a decade, speedrunners had the mission of just trying to find a way to get to all of the positions that the infobot will travel to. And I'll explain you'll get to see what I mean by positions when I revisit Orxon as Ratchet. And we kind of dubbed this Poke Skip because it would skip Pokitaru as well as a few other things. And in 2023, we finally managed to make it a reality. We made it possible to skip Pokitaru. We found all the steps we needed, but it was pretty slow. However, recent discoveries have actually made it like easier and faster for New Game Plus in any percent. And I've actually pulled this off before. I've pulled off the skip before. Some people that have been in my stream for a bit now will know that I've pulled it off, have completed runs. But for marathon safety, I'm not doing it here. But maybe at some point we will see it at a GDQ event, and to whoever that person is that pulls it off, I wish them the best, because it is very difficult to pull off. So Pokitaru itself, as you can kind of see, I'm just on this boat and I'm just trying to protect this guy who I'm kind of realizing isn't here. I must have left something alive. This guy, who is appropriately named The Guy, he doesn't move forward unless all the enemies are dead. So it is kind of heartbreaking when you lose a run because you realize the guy isn't moving towards you, and you go back and just one fish is alive. But in a marathon, you know, you're just kind of playing to show off the game, so it's nothing too bad. There is one skip that I'm trying to pull off called Guy Warp, where if I manage to defeat enough of the fishes before the guy hits a certain checkpoint, he will kind of warp to the end of the path that he's supposed to take, and it'll save a couple seconds, and I will be able to open a certain garage quickly, a garage with like a fighter jet inside of it. So if the hosts have anything they want to say for now, feel free, because there's not much to explain left in this planet.
Yeah, I'm hanging out. I'm having a good time. This is you're very knowledgeable about this run, so I'm learning a lot. I've never watched any Ratchet Clank ones before, but I will say, for everyone in chat, your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, your gift subs, and your bits shared on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. If you enjoy watching speedruns, consider subscribing to the channel to get access to our emotes, to have ad-free viewing, to chat with other subscribers during the replay, and a lot more. So, yeah.
Jake, okay, I hit Guy Warp. Nice.
That's my goat.
All right, you can keep talking. This is just the ship fight. Nothing too interesting to talk about here.
I will also say, if you have missed out on any of our Hotfix shows or past events, visit and subscribe at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. There are a lot of VODs from events such as Frost Fatales 2025, Back to Black, the runs from the Trans Day of Visibility, from past mainline AGDQ and SGDQs. There's speedruns on the YouTube channel for everyone. Any runs that you could really think of that have been on Hotfix or anywhere else are on the channel. And I can't lie, I am a chronic GDQ VOD watcher, so make sure you go subscribe and go watch some VODs on the YouTube channel.
If I may shout out a set of VODs, I want to shout out the Lego Star Wars 20th anniversary celebration, since I'm decently new to Lego runs, and yeah, it's another game franchise that I've really grown to enjoy for both casual and speedrunning. So, yeah, that is one I gotta shout out. I also just noticed that I golded gas bar earlier. I haven't been paying good attention to my splits. So anyways, now we're on Orcs 2. Back to actually explaining things. Orcs 2, so the way the infobot works is you'll get to see in just a moment. This pillar right here, I got a bone to pick with, because this pillar, I've had a few moments where I just almost hit it, but I slip off. I just need everyone to know my pain right there. So this infobot starts right here, but the second you get close to it, it starts to run away, and we have to chase after it. So there are 6 positions that it travels to. This is position 2, which was the one that stopped Pokeskip from being a thing for like a really long time. And the methods we do have of getting to it these days are definitely really difficult, I can say from experience. The other positions aren't too difficult, both with Ratchet and with Clank. Those crab guys can be a little bit annoying. And then you get over here. And yeah, that's Orxon 2 completed. This level's kind of infamous for being really difficult. I do like this level for both the kind of unique difficulty it provides and the atmosphere, but it does make sense that maybe you're not that fond of this level. Now the next planet, Hovin. This one is also very infamous for killing a lot of runs. So the first part of Hovin will involve more ILJs. It'll involve more ILJs for anyone that's a big fan of those. But the second half is kind of an RNG fest in a way. Oh, I almost went to the wrong planet. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I'll just let the first part of Hovin speak for itself. All right. This ILJ chain is a little bit tricky for me to start, so this might take me a couple tries. Ooh, okay, that trigger is really difficult to hit. Okay, we took a death, that's fine. The trigger for the turret is really tiny, and it is kind of a common thing that, like, we just sometimes miss it, and we're just like, why? There is an entire video by the Rixer explaining why speedrunners don't like this planet, and you'd think it'd be because of how tiny that trigger is. No, it's this. So there's 5 sections of this ship that we need to destroy. The 4 on the outside are honestly not that bad, in my opinion, but the middle one takes forever to destroy, and you're constantly being attacked by these helicopters, and you're ideally trying to minimize the amount of time you spend fighting the helicopters. But then when you get to the 5th section, the one right in the middle, you kind of just go for it. You're just shooting at it. You decide not to focus on the helicopters. You're like, if this thing can just break quickly, I will be out of here. I will get to keep my run. And sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. I'm going to swag out. I'm going to try and swag out for GDQ. This is something I normally don't do in my runs anymore. And I got the swag. Because of the exactly, so because of the properties of the water there, you can kind of chain thruster pack side flips, and that strat I learned from one of that same video I mentioned of Ricky explaining why Hovin is so disliked. So that one's for the GDQ peeps. Okay, Gemlik base is just more movement that you've seen before. It does have one major skip. Hold on. Okay, so there is a boss fight against Captain Quark. You're in another ship, and it's another ship fight. I personally like it, but it's pretty slow to do, so we obviously have to skip it. That chain is a little tricky for me to hit, so no big deal. We have a good backup right here. So the Captain Quark fight is really easy to skip because if you get near a checkpoint, if you get near a certain checkpoint at the end of the level, the game just kind of assumes you've completed the fight, and when you take a death, it'll respawn you right there and act as if you've just beaten Quark. Oh. And yeah, that's just the thing for some reason. Not that I'm complaining personally. We love skips like that. So Ultanis is bringing back something we haven't seen since the beginning of the game. We're used to having both Ratchet and Clank together, but Clank isn't really safe in the outside of this planet because of all the lightning. So Ratchet has to go on his own. So you're back to seeing the standard Ratchet only movement, but this time it lasts way less, and it's way less difficult to pull off compared to what you saw on Velden, Navalis, and Kerwan. Let's see, there's not much to explain on Core 2. Core 2 is also just more movement that you've been seeing throughout the whole run. However, we do have one single objective to complete or the game doesn't let us progress forward, and that's one robot.
Supongo que...
Oh, I just remembered there's a cutscene we have to skip. So, yeah, I currently don't have much to say. If the hosts have anything they want to say, go ahead. I'm just gonna complete Floor 2.
Yeah, I'm hanging out. I love a good chill Hidden Heroes episode. As I said before, Hidden Heroes, this is the last episode that we'll be having in this time slot, Mondays at 10 p.m. where I love the little Yoda, he's hanging out. This is the last episode that's going to be in this time slot. We will actually be moving next week. We're going to have a double header of Hidden Heroes episodes where we will be starting our new time slot on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So we're going to be sharing a day with Express Lane. So very excited for that. Just make sure if you update your calendars or what have you. And yeah.
All right, thank you. So next up, we are on the final stretch of the run already. We got 2 more planets left. So this, well, one of them is technically more so a bunch of spaceships rather than a planet. It is kind of funny that we're used to saying planet and you see like an entire space station like, I think something's a little wrong here. This is Drex Fleet, and this is just one long helipad chain. So if I can hit it correctly, I will be very happy. And my partner, who is sitting right next to me, is probably waving a Lego minifigure in your face, so...
It was Yoda.
You know what? I like that. Yoda is my favorite Star Wars character, so... and I have been watching the Star Wars films recently, so why not?
Alex can do a good impression of Yoda.
I don't even know if they heard that, but... So I did unfortunately mess up the helipad chain, but that's okay. We do have some ways to back it up and not lose too much time. Oh, drop the square input. That is really strange. I actually dropped 2 square inputs. That has not happened to me like ever. The classic marathon thing of that's never happened before.
You said the thing that has never happened before.
I'm more surprised that it happened here because I've never had like an input drop here. I've only ever had it on Kerwan. So, quickly set up my weapons. We're on the final stretch of the game, so this is Velden 2. We have this really cool thing in the game where they're like, you know what? The tutorial level is going to be the final level where we test the knowledge of everything you learned throughout the game. And in a sense, that's also kind of what the speedrun does, because you have to do one final like helipad chain. So this is one of the chains that I've practiced the most, so I really hope I can hit this. Okay, I at least hit the more important parts of it. Everything afterwards is just the icing on the cake. So let's go. I hit the hard part on GDQ. That is enough for me to be happy. So we have a little chain at the end right here with the helipad, and then afterwards we just kind of end the run by doing a bunch of infinite jumps to the ending arena. And now you're probably thinking, man, the final boss fight of this game was really difficult as a kid. I wonder how they take care of it, and the answer is we don't. So the PS3 releases of the first 4 Ratchet & Clank games, they each have file manipulations where a thing you do on one file will affect how you play on every other file, and it will usually persist until the console is turned off, or more specifically, the game's turned off. Going commando and up your arsenal use these way more. Deadlock has a few, but they don't save that much time. In Ratchet 1, we killed the final boss on one file, and if we don't hit this button right here, by the way, time's coming up, we can just end the game like this, and time.
GG's.
Yeah, 26-11 on my splits. I golded Oltanis and Gaspar, so 2 gold in a marathon run isn't bad at all. Let's see. I'm more impressed that I managed to decently commentate that entire run by myself, because Ratchet 1 is the Ratchet game I'm least experienced with, but I pulled it off, so I just, before I give my shout-outs, I do want to just mention that I've run the other 3 PlayStation 2 era Ratchet and Clank games at marathons before. In fact, last year I ran Ratchet Deadlocked around this time on a hotfix. So it is kind of an honor to finally complete the quadrilogy by doing a Ratchet 1 run. I've been wanting to do that for like a year. I've thought like, okay, I'm going to submit Ratchet 1 to this, let's see if I can get it in, and I finally got the honor to finish off the job. I want to give shout-outs to all the Ratchet runners that have been by my side. I see a few in chat. Shout out to my partner for providing a bit of entertainment throughout the run.
I was having Yoda like move as you were talking.
Shout out to the GDQ staff. Shout out to any runner from other communities that may be watching me, because let's just say I know a lot of people. And let's see. If I didn't already say shout out to the GDQ organizers, you know. One last thing to mention is that despite this being a PlayStation themed event, this is the only run that is being played on a PlayStation console. Spyro was run on PC, and Crash Twinsanity will be run on Xbox. So I just find that extremely funny. And speaking of, congrats to Toronite on their Spyro run, and good luck to Kylie QB for their Crash Twinsanity run. And I don't really have anything else to say that I can think of. I'll type it in chat if it comes to mind.
Before you go, where can the people find you? If they want to watch your streams, find you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, my Twitter is YoBean. That's Yo spelled with 6 O's. Or can I? 6 O's. And you can find me on twitch.tv/TheSagBean. I stream like a lot of games. So if maybe you're wanting something different from Ratchet, you know, I stream the first 4 Ratchet games, but I also stream a trillion other game franchises, mostly within PlayStation, but I have branched out a little bit. So chances are you'll probably find something you like. I hope you find something you like. And yeah.
Thank you so much for that Ratchet and Clank run. That was really, really interesting. And like you said, great job commentating that all by yourself, because there was a lot happening. But without further ado, we are going to take another quick wellness break before we get to our last run of the night. Make sure that you hydrate, use the restroom, stretch, get a sweet treat, go for a walk, stretch your legs, do all that fun stuff, and we'll be back with more Hidden Heroes soon. Okay, I wanted to see if it would focus. But anyway, hey everybody, my name is Anarchy. Welcome back to Hidden Heroes, the Hotfix show, where we showcase speedrunners who are part of underrepresented and marginalized communities and the games that they're passionate about and that they want to show off. We are in the last leg of our PlayStation Nation mascot hero amalgamation episode here of Hidden Heroes. Before we get into the last run of the night, I just want to shout out our hotfix enjoyers in the GDQ Discord. You can join the official GDQ Discord role and add the hotfix role, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff, and more. Use !Discord in the Twitch chat for more information. But without further ado, I personally am quite the Cash Banuka enjoyer. So I'm going to hand it over to Kylie Kayubi with Crash Twinsanity 100%. Good luck and have fun.
Are we live?
Yep, you're good.
All right. Hi, I'm Kylie QB. I'm going to be doing Crash Twinsanity 100%. For frame of reference, for anybody who has not seen this run before, I want you to imagine the most broken video game you've ever seen, and I would say there's approximately an 80% chance or more that this is more broken than it. So this is going to be very, very entertaining. So with me on commentary, I have Joester98 and Diochomp, who are 2 legends at this game. If you guys want to introduce yourself.
What's up, everyone? This is going to be a perfect marathon run of Twinsanity, never before seen in the history of mankind, but I believe it. It's coming today.
Yeah, this will be borderline world record, believe me.
Let's just ignore the fact that world record is like like on a completely different route that's like 4 minutes faster. But yeah.
A crazy fact about that, the current world record for 100% is faster than the first any percent run of this game.
This game has evolved so much over the years. But yeah, that said, we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to set up an autosave because as I was just saying in the setup before this, I have 3 backup saves right here, and then I'm going to have an autosave running through the run also. And honestly, I'm scared it might not be enough. A lot of this game, especially early on, is very at risk of soft locking or crashing. So that's why I have the 3 backup saves. But honestly, once we get out of the first hub, it's pretty okay from there. So we should be fine. Knock on wood. But yeah, timing will start when I hit OK on this autosave prompt right here. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
And then I'm going to go ahead and let my commentators start or cover this first part because a lot happens in this first level.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, we'll define what 100% is. So in this game, it's not like other Crash games where you have to break boxes to get gems. The gems in this game are just laying around. Usually you have to complete some sort of puzzle. Complete is a loose term in this game, as you'll see right here, as that was a very good puzzle. That is not how you're supposed to get that. So there are 96 gems in the game. There are 4 hubs. Each hub has the hub and 3 levels, and each of those has 6 gems. Got to get all those and beat the final boss. So there's not going to be any box breaking or anything. But we are going to be cheesing some more puzzles. So like this Tiki, that is not intended. We've already skipped 2 puzzles and we collected 3 gems and we've been playing for like 30 seconds. So that's kind of just the gist of Twinsanity in a nutshell. This first level, Jungle Bone, was honestly like one of the harder levels. There's a lot going on here. What Kylie's going to do here after this autosave is try and climb this tree. This is substantially easier on the Xbox version.
It's like, I don't like to use this term. It's like basically free on Xbox.
Yeah, it's very easy on Xbox. And this skips 2 cutscenes where Coco maybe tells you what you're supposed to do.
Coco question mark. I'm really bad at that skip, but I tried it anyway.
That skip is dumb.
Yeah. It saves like 8 seconds to skip this cutscene, but it's like fairly precise, and you only get 1 shot at it. And honestly, in the past, when I have gotten it, I've usually messed up getting back out. So honestly, I don't really think it saves a lot of time for me anyway. This is also skipping a big puzzle, and that gem's just hanging out there.
You see, but if you skip the cutscene, then you don't get to hear Lex Lang say, "Oh, too easy."
Yeah.
So clearly, it's better to watch it.
I mean, what's 8 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else you'll notice is that the slide jump in this game is very different from other Crash games. Whereas in other Crash games, it gives you like extended height. This is more akin to the long jump in Super Mario 64, where it just propels you forward. And there is some cool tech you can do with it later. This skip is fun.
Another cutscene skip here.
Yeah, if we get it.
This one either works first try or 11th try usually.
Yeah. I've been back on this game for about 2 weeks now, I want to say, and I've had plenty of times where I get that first try, and then I've also had times where it takes me a good 30 seconds or more to get it.
A lot of things in this game are like that. It's either first try or millionth try.
Yeah.
There's a lot of collision that isn't supposed to be there that you can stand on, but those spots are generally very small and finicky. Like here's one here. So that's actually that trick is only possible on the Xbox version.
It actually is possible on PS2, but it's way harder.
Yeah, it's extremely not worth it.
Yeah, on PS2 I'll do it if I'm like going for a backup, like if I fail the PS2 strat. But yeah, usually it's only consistent on Xbox. So I got that checkpoint there just to be safe, because you can accidentally lock yourself out of bounds here.
Coming up, we actually have like one of the more annoying / difficult tricks in the game. So this is the first boss, and we're not going to fight it. And the way we're going to not fight it is by jumping on an invisible vehicle. So in this fight, Cortex flies around on a hoverboard and shoots at you. because this game is awesome. That hoverboard is always there, and it's fully controllable. So if you land on it, you can fly it into the level underneath the boss fight and not fight the boss. The problem is if you screw this up, you do soft lock the game. So if you screw it up, you just have to reload and try it again.
Yeah, that's why I got the autosave there. Yeah, normally this is just a reset, and I think, yep, that was first try.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah, so something Joe and I learned at ESA when Sustain ran all levels of this is that if the controller rumbles after you hit it, then you got inbounds and you got it. So yeah,
I wish I knew that.
Yeah. The hoverboard that Joe was talking about that we flew into that controls really badly, and we have to hit the cutscene trigger at a specific area because Crash has to be in bounds when the cutscene ends because Cortex will run towards him. And if you're out of bounds, then the pair just end up floating over the hole and you can't do anything, and then you just have to reset. But as long as you're in bounds, usually it works. Sometimes the game will just crash anyway, but that's
what I was waiting for. I didn't want to say anything until I saw the hole appear because you never know when the game will just freeze on you.
Yeah, so this level is, I think, unanimously considered the worst level in the run.
It's not even close. It's definitely the worst level.
Oh, well, we're off to a good start.
It's going great so far.
Yeah, so that little, shortcut there is actually mandatory on Xbox to catch the fastest cycle here. On PS2, you can catch this cycle no matter what, but it loads in faster on Xbox, which makes the level faster, but also you have to get that or another strat, and if you don't, you actually lose time here compared to PS2. But yeah.
You're going to hear us talk a lot about PS2, Xbox. Nowadays, pretty much everyone plays on Xbox. I'm one of the few lone holdouts, although I haven't played the game in a while, so I kind of hardly count. But there's a lot of differences between the two that are minor, but we'll kind of discuss them as we go. Also, nice no Sonic 06 boxes there. It's always good.
Yeah, so I'm going to take this part really safe because there's a lot that can go wrong here that is either going to lose time or make me permanently miss a gem. There are a couple gems in the run that are one time only, and if you miss them, you have to restart the level. If I miss any of those, I'm just going to keep going. The run doesn't really change outside of I didn't technically get 100%, and it's not like other Crash games where you actually literally need everything in order to finish the game with a true ending. So, and then also, if I were to do a faster strat here, I would skip this checkpoint, and dying in this upcoming fight is really bad, so I just wanted to get the checkpoint for safety. Cavern's one of the levels where there's no save points in the middle of it. It's only at the start and at the end, so I just don't want to take any risks here. But yeah, I want to say most of Twinsanity, for as difficult of a run as it's notorious for being, a lot of it is, honestly, in my opinion, very consistent, where once you know how to do strats, it's really easy to be consistent. Cavern is one of the exceptions. This level is just miserable no matter how good at the game you are.
Amen to that. So Kylie has to be a little careful here. If you die after you hit the last button here, you'll actually soft lock the game.
Yeah.
No problem there. That I'm sure many a casual player did that on accident. And now we're going to go crystal crazy here.
Oh, we got the cutscene skip.
We got the skip. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So Kylie slide jumped towards a box after she hit the last button, and if you land on it as the cutscene starts, it just skips part of the cutscene for some reason.
Yeah, we were supposed to see he just walks towards the crystal and just staring at it blankly, and it just skipped that. It saves 2 seconds, but it's really cool whenever it happens.
So that's one more time than I've ever gotten that trick. So
I actually get it quite a bit, but it's not something I ever bank on.
Never gotten it. So you'll see this is a common theme throughout this run, is the game wants you to play as Crash and Cortex, but Cortex is really slow and just drags you down. So the general strat is just going to kind of be to throw him away, and then when he reappears, just throw him away again, unless we need him for something, which we will later. But here in this
part coming up is one of the only times where we actually do hold on to him.
Yeah, but even here, we're just abandoning him to hit this checkpoint, and then we're just going to die, so we respawn with him.
Yeah.
Because carrying him there is slower.
Death abusing is a very common thing in this run, not only to respawn with Cortex when he's attached to you, but including gems that are far away. where it's easier to just die and get back to a checkpoint because you keep the gems after you die.
Yeah, I think Kylie's already death abused like 6 or 7 times in this run.
And like almost entirely been in this level. Like there was one at the very beginning of the game when I got the clear gem, and then everything else has just been in cavern. Alright, so there's a cute little thing we can do here.
Didn't clip through the floor, which is always nice. You can just fall through the floor there at the end for no reason and die. It's very fun. So good thing that didn't happen. Nice. Got a little bit of movement during that cutscene there. You spin, throw Cortex as you enter it. You can just keep moving.
Yeah, that green exclamation mark box that Kylie threw Cortex at, that's the only one in the game. All the others are like these switch red things.
Yeah, they're actually like TNT detonators.
Yeah.
So we're at Insanity Island Part 2.
So just so people are aware, the way that these 2 gems are getting collected is not intended.
Yeah.
Even though that really looked intended, neither of those strats were intended.
Yeah, you're supposed to like guide the chickens or the haystacks into the nitros to blow them up and then reach arrow crates, but we'll just use a tree and a log.
It just tells you how very skippable the puzzles are in this game.
Yep. So there's a very big trick coming up in this next level that is going to make it's going to make this level and the next level significantly more tolerable, but it also runs a very big risk of me crashing the game. Like I literally cannot die for the next like level, like 2.5 levels basically. So that's why I disabled autosave there, because there are some more autosave points coming up and I don't want to corrupt this file. So if something goes wrong, these are like 2 of the backup saves I have are specifically in this level and the next level.
So this is an auto scroll. You'll notice that it is not auto scrolling, and that is because Kylie just jumped around the trigger to make it start auto scrolling, and now you can just go through this as a regular platforming section.
Yeah, you're supposed to
there's a couple.
You're supposed to guide Cortex through like a bunch of hazards as he's being attacked by bees, which is why the music is Flight of the Bumblebee, as we're about to hear.
The humble bumblebee.
Yeah, so he's getting stung and attacked, and he's running into all these death traps. So Crash has to like protect him, and then Cortex also inadvertently protects Crash. I messed this up, so I'm just gonna play it safe. Yeah, we don't want to do that. It's very slow, so we're just skipping all the cutscene triggers. And it was actually very important that I grabbed Cortex where I did, because when we get to the last section here, we're going to do a death abuse and respawn with Cortex.
So that's one thing, the good and bad thing about this game is it will remember what character combination you were.
Yeah, so we need Cortex here because the Cortex passing through this cutscene trigger is how the cutscene activates, and we died at the same time, so we're now in something called zombie state, which I will just let it speak for itself in a couple seconds. So this tunnel is actually very scary because it's very easy to soft lock here.
So this is a very cool but very tenuous state here. So Crash is more or less invincible right now. This water would normally just kill you.
Yep.
So it is a good thing that you are just invincible, but also it can be a bad thing, because if you fall in a hole, the hole doesn't kill you, and you cannot get out, and so you are just stuck. So that
was a little slow there.
There are a lot of holes. So these villagers with the binoculars can kill Crash if they see him with their binoculars, but if you start out of their range, they can only see you on the first frame that the binoculars get put up. So you just wait for them to start looking, and then you can go. As counterintuitive as that is, that's how they work when you start outside their range. If you start inside their range, then they will see you the whole time. This is a great trick here.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you got it first try. That would have been so sick.
Oh, second try. Oh, my mouth. Why?
There we go. I'll take third slash fourth. That was me fat fingering.
At least you didn't hit the mask. That would have been the worst thing.
Oh, and then I end up on the right side, which is, I don't care what anybody says, it's not easier on this side. I actually think it's harder. All right, so this skips a cutscene that would have saved 12 seconds if I got it first try. Instead, I probably lost like 10. But I do not like the alternate strat for like getting those 2 gems, which is using a worm to bounce onto the roof. I actually think it's more annoying. So I do that skip anyway, even though it usually loses time. But yeah, back
so it's
on
very important that the mask got skipped there. You don't want masks right now. Masks are no bueno.
Yeah. Back on the game remembers like what character combo you were. Because I grabbed Cortex at the start of the level, the game thinks I am crashing Cortex right now, but you are not supposed to be, and this level doesn't have that combo programmed in it. So if I die at any point in this level or the next level, it'll try to respawn me as crashing Cortex, and the game will crash, which is why this trick is so terrifying to do. But I genuinely think it actually makes this level and the next level significantly easier. And then the reason you don't want to grab masks is that zombie state, or I guess the state of being dead, is in the game's programming set to be -1 masks. So that's what the game thinks we have right now. So if you pick up a mask, you go to 0 masks and you become alive. And that's how we're going to leave zombie, but we don't want to leave yet. All right, so I'm going to do a safer but technically harder version of the skip here. Just because the other version of the skip it's easy, but you only have one shot at it, and if you fail it, then the run is over.
Nice.
Yeah, so...
This is a boss, by the way, that we're very much just going right past. The trigger for that boss, there are, I don't know, probably 473 ways to get around that.
Yeah.
That is just one of many.
Yeah, the easiest way is just jumping on the rock to the right, which is easy, but if you miss the angle, then you do not get a second chance at it.
Nice boat. Classic boat where you jump on it, it doesn't work.
Yep. So the zombie state does carry over between hubs, so we are still in zombie, which lets us just go through the water here to get this green gem. It also skips a cutscene that we will unfortunately have to skip again later and is very tight, but at least we don't have to skip it twice. Old route, like the old all levels route, which is basically 100%, but you don't have to get the gems. Before it implemented zombie, you did have to skip the cutscene twice, and it was very annoying. All right.
Like super old route in this game, you had to skip it 3 times.
Yeah.
Which is very, very bad. But here we just went under it. And we'll and that's the thing with cutscenes in this game is the triggers never go away unless you actually watch the cutscene. You know, even though you may leave an area by just avoiding a cutscene or doing something else, the trigger is still there. So you cannot just like blitz through it on your way back if you haven't watched it. Because it will still be there. And the cutscene in this level actually only plays once, but like every other cutscene will play every time. So you have to be diligent that you're dodging those when you're kind of going through other chunks of the game.
Yep, so this is Ice Climb. This is the other level that, at least early on, we use zombie with. We're actually going to drop out of zombie very soon, but we still cannot die for most of the level just because most of this is solo crash until you reach outside.
This is a good platform here, by the way.
Yep. So we're still in zombies, so the checkpoints are not breaking. That's one of the side effects of zombies, that regular checkpoints do not break. So we picked up that mask. We did not get a mask, so because we went down to 0 masks from -1, which means we are alive, so we can die. And bats in this game are very, very notorious for being very relentless. So
yeah, that one right there is it causes nightmares.
I don't
have game audio, so I didn't hear if it got activated.
I didn't hear it, so I think we're fine.
Well, Kylie's not in the clear yet. If she dies, the game will still crash because it thinks she's attached to Cortex.
And Cortex doesn't exist here.
Yeah, exactly.
Going out of bounds. By the way, going out of bounds in this game is as easy as that looked. You just kind of jump at the ceiling and body slam and jump again, and you'll generally end up on top of the level.
Playing things a little slow here just to make sure nothing goes wrong. So we're gonna get outside here to dodge the death trigger. I walked forward to load in the outside, which was signified by the tint of the level getting slightly darker and the audio wind starting to play, which is a bit harder to hear. So I guess we didn't really explain long jumping. If you do a slide jump, if your next jump is at a ledge, then that jump carries the momentum of a slide jump, and that's how we're making a lot of these jumps that look like they shouldn't be possible, and that's because they shouldn't be. Oh, that is a terrible bat location. These last 2 bats are like the final trial before I can die. All right, we are good.
All right, you're good.
Yep. I can now die, and we are safe.
All right, coming up here. So speaking of long jump, this is, I think, technically the hardest one. This first jump is 2 or 3 frames. Nice. And then you have to store another one. Nice. Very, very nice.
And then here's a fast bat. Nice.
Nice.
So that skip's having to like go around the entire location we just went through to take Cortex to that upper area. And here's the third boss fight, which we will also be skipping. We are 3 boss fights into this game, and we have skipped all of them.
People will tell you that bat trick is easy, by the way. They're lying. It just doesn't work.
They're not, though. It works perfectly.
I know I'm just bad. But
I mean, the last time you like actively ran was before we like figured out how to make it consistent. But nowadays, I honestly think it's so much easier than the other strat. The other strat that I never learned. That is not a great setup for this end, but I think it's still like barely doable.
That's makeable. I think that's makeable. Yeah. It's going to be hard to stay on with the vertical. So you want to freeze this end at an angle, and then use it as a platform to actually skip this boss. This angle here is a little awkward.
This is wonderful.
Because it's going to be hard to stay on.
Yeah. It's because you're fighting the camera at the same time, and it's like trying to move. Surely. Okay, that's good. Okay. We're at the edge, so we have the long jump stored, and there. So that skipped the entire boss fight with Uka Uka, which honestly is a fairly short fight, but the cutscene after it that you can't skip is stupidly long, and that's like the biggest reason that saves time.
And unfortunately, you miss a banger by skipping that boss, because that song is really good. But yeah.
Yep. So coming up here, we're gonna do what is definitely one of the hardest strats in the run. It's called Ride and Slide. This is basically going to skip a bunch of stuff that's supposed to happen in Cortex's lab. We're going to skip an entire mob fight, several cutscenes, and basically the start of the next level. Like, we'll just skip into it. Nice dance, Cortex. You will not make me lose time there. Yeah, so we jumped around a trigger to deload the mountainside. So now we're on the mountain. This is very, very thin. And if I...
The edge of a polygon here, so that's...
If I die, it loses a huge amount of time. So, just like that.
Oh.
Thankfully, on Xbox, it does not lose as much time as it does on PS2. On PS2, that's probably close to 2 minutes. Just because the amount of time for the load and then just getting back to the mountainside.
Yeah, the load alone is 30 seconds. So,
yeah, so it's probably still like a minute and a half for that death, but... Yeah. Even worse is that if you die like in the actual tunnel that I was trying to jump to, the game usually crashes. My last backup save is at the end of that tunnel for multiple reasons, so if that happens, I'll just load that save.
I would personally say that for this like typical route, that this is the hardest trick in the run, like the hardest single strat. So there's
I remember the point in time where
really precise platforming
was abnormally like early for like runners to do it, because I started doing it when I had like a 120. And this is definitely like a top level strat. Like, I'm 3rd place in the category now, and I still struggle with this sometimes.
Nice.
So if I die at any point in this tunnel, the game can crash. So we're gonna hopefully not have that happen. And we have one more cutscene skip coming up here, and it's actually important on Xbox specifically that I skip this cutscene, which is why I have the backup save here. Yeah, if I were not to skip the cutscene that I just did, like if I were to die and respawn inbounds, at the end of this level, the game would crash because I was attached to Cortex, and that it only happens on Xbox. It doesn't happen on PS2.
Shoutouts to Hypno Shark.
Yeah.
Because he crashes there all the time.
Yeah, so that's why I had the last backup there, was if I did die during that skip, I was just going to load a file that didn't have me attached to Cortex, and then I was just going to watch the cutscene as opposed to trying to get back out of bounds.
That purple gem, by the way, is one of the hardest gems in the game.
Yeah.
So first try, easy peasy.
Yeah, this is Slip Slide Escapades. It's honestly a pretty normal level by the standards of this run. There's nothing too broken about it. There are 2 gems that are 1 try only. The green gem is honestly pretty easy. As I say that, I'm probably going to miss it. And then there's the yellow gem, which is actually pretty difficult. So hopefully I get both of them. If I miss either, we're just going to keep going.
Gotta keep the tradition going. Miss the green one.
Yeah, miss the green, get the yellow.
Don't miss the green one, please. Please don't do it. You'll notice in a second here, we're going to pick up a crystal. There are a finite number of crystals in the game, but one, they don't count for percentage, and two, the game doesn't even count them correctly because there are 13, and if you get all 13, the game will say 12.
Yeah, there's two.
So,
there's 2 in Classroom Chaos, but it only counts one of them.
Yeah, so they're
I
the
think
plot device, but that's it.
Yeah,
they don't actually contribute to the percent counter.
I think that's like the 5th or 6th one in the run. I don't know how I got that.
Yeah, that was that. I think you got hit by the one ball.
Yeah,
from
I got hit
behind
by
it.
the
That was
bomb and
weird.
then it knocked me into the gem, but like barely. Gems have really big hitboxes, and like thank God they do, because this upcoming like yellow gem would be miserable if it wasn't like that.
No swag left.
Are those real?
All right, so this gem coming up here, the green one. You have one try at it, and in a normal run, if you miss it, you just kind of cry and start over. That's easy. That one's substantially easier. And the last gem in this level is the yellow one, and you also only have one try at that. And that one is substantially harder to get.
It's actually
Although
the second
gems
to
in this
last one,
game-
but the red one is so painfully
Oh,
easy
that's
that we
right.
forget
Yeah.
about it. But what were you saying, Dio?
Gems in this game have a larger hitbox than you might expect, so sometimes when you go for the yellow gem, you won't expect to get it, but you just do.
All right, I'm gonna.
So I've seen somebody miss the red gem
before.
before, so.
All right, we got it. Cool.
Oh, easy every time, yeah.
Speaking of missing the red gem, the first 100% run I ever did was just a super casual race with some friends. I got the yellow gem first try and then missed the red gem. So, but I don't think I've missed it since. Well,
I think I saw someone miss the red gem, and then they were in that last tunnel there. They were just like holding right to try and die, and didn't die and finish the level. That's a great way to.
That's what happened for me in my first run.
Yeah, that's a great way to end your run. Also, no audio. And I don't have game audio right now, but there's no audio in this cutscene anyways because of video game. No despawn, no Cortex despawn. Sometimes he disappears in the snowball there, and then he's invisible.
All right, I'm gonna reactivate the autosave now. That was off from like the end of the end of the first hub to this hub, which is the last level of the second hub, which shows us how long, like how unsafe that entire portion of the run is.
Yeah, that was really clean, though, that whole chunk.
Yeah, we should be good now, though. I don't think there's anything that risks corrupting the save file at this point, so we should be okay. Yeah, so this is High Seas Hijinks. This is one of the most infamous levels in the game just because it's very, very long and it has one save point at the very beginning. But this houses 2 boss fights and probably the most difficult chase sequence in the entire series.
This is the, if you've seen a run of any of the PS1 Crash games, you'll see people talk a lot about cycles for platforms and enemies and such. In this game, generally not a big deal, but in this level in particular, there are a lot of cycles, a lot of elevators moving up and down. And so you have to move pretty quickly throughout the level in order to catch a good cycle. I'm actually not as familiar with the Xbox cycles, so I'm not sure if this is on pace for the good cycle or not.
Probably not. So PS2, this cycle for this room, the optimal cycle is tight, but still like fairly doable if you know what you're doing. On Xbox, it's borderline impossible unless your name is G-Pro, who is the record holder. He's the only person I know who's actually able to hit this like cycle optimally where you don't have to do any waiting.
And the reason for that is because the Xbox is better at loading things. So stuff loads in quicker, which means it starts moving faster.
Yeah.
So you are further away from the room when the platforms start, and they always start in the same position. So they will just be further along by the time you get there, which makes it way harder.
Yeah, this level and Cavern Catastrophe are the 2 that get really affected by cycles in a negative way on Xbox, where you lose time because of the cycles. The Watchmen, or like the Tribesman Watchtowers in Totem Hokum are actually faster on Xbox compared to PS2, because the PS2, you have to wait if you're playing on discs. On Xbox, if you're playing on hard drive, which is what I am doing, you don't have to wait for any of them, but it does make them a bit tighter, so it's like tougher to do. But it does save like 5 seconds.
Right, so we're like halfway through the game, and we have finally reached a boss fight. We have skipped 3 already.
We technically can skip this one, but not on this route.
Yeah, but no. Your name also has to be Cheap Pro to skip this boss.
I've gotten this skip. I just haven't done that route in a long time.
So this boss is auto scroller. You wait for engine, shoots a bunch of missiles, and then throws a TNT at you, and you have to use the TNT to blow up the leg of the crow's nest. Despite all the broken stuff in this game, they hilariously stop you from cheesing this fight, because one TNT, if you get engine to throw it right on top of himself, can actually blow up 2 or all 3 of the legs at once. But if you do that, the fight will just continue, and so you'll have to die and try again. So unfortunately, even though it feels like you could cheese this boss, and you can cheese basically everything else in the game, you have to actually fight this guy. If you fight this guy, you have to actually do the fight the way you're supposed to. Tragic, I know, actually doing the intended strat in a speedrun.
I see someone in chat asking if this would be faster if it was backwards compatible on Series X. We actually can play this on 360, but it's super, super laggy. So Xbox is, like original Xbox is definitely fastest. Also, like the loads are pretty instantaneous on OG Xbox anyway, so there's not like you can save too much more beyond that.
Yeah, you're barely any loads in this run anyways. So this game kind of hides its loading screens with like tunnels and stuff, but even with that, there's like just no loads.
Yeah, even like the screens that say loading are maybe like 2 or 3 seconds long.
So this is Rusty Walrus. If you played this game as a kid, you're probably having some trauma right now, because this actually is pretty damn hard if you are just walking through here. Unless you're playing the Japanese version, in which case he will just spin in circles and you can just do whatever you want. This is kind of a classic run towards the screen crash section, except it's very hard.
Yeah, the layout
there's a lot of pits and nitros.
Yeah, the layout is super treacherous, and in this game, since we didn't mention it before, TNTs and nitros are auto death, even if you have a mask, which they did to stop you from cheesing puzzles, which we do anyway.
Even if you have third mask form and walk into a nitro, it will kill you.
Yeah, so between all the holes in the nitros and how fast Rusty is, this is actually a very difficult chase section. I actually had to sit here.
It's hard to gain.
Go ahead.
It's hard to gain distance from him with the slide jump, because once you start a slide jump, you're locked into it until it ends. So if something's right in front of you and you can't see it, you're done for.
Yeah.
That was pretty clean, though. That was pretty good.
Yeah, this is one of the sections in the game where I actually don't usually sit down and practice any specific thing. I just kind of go through runs and learn it as I go. This specific section of the game, I sat in like a Discord call with a friend and just practiced it for about an hour or two until I had it down.
Tell us where the treasure is, and we'll.
The reward for doing that hard section is another thrilling boss fight
that we also technically can skip, just not on this route. I mean, there's nothing going on in this boss fight, so I guess we might as well talk about the other route that we've been alluding to. So there's a trick that's more prominent in any percent called the Curse Splash that lets you basically, warp into like different hubs super early. And even in 100%, it's faster because you can warp to hub 4 and clear it out. And even though you have to watch the credits, it triggers all the flags that say like, hey, you've beaten this section. So it makes backtracking easier. And you can carry the zombie state from Totem Hokum into this hub. And then using zombie, you can just skip the entire back half of this level because you just get the purple gem in the Walrus Chase, and then it's Death Abuse back to the start of the level, and then leave it. And it also lets you bypass the death trigger that is below the arena in the engine fight, so you can skip that fight as well. The route is really fast, but it's very, very risky because for how long you carry zombie, a death at like any point beyond the early game is basically a run killer, and it's just there's no way it's marathon safe.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I see someone in chat mentioning the Dingo Dial crash. That happens on the first version of the game on NTSC PS2 only, and there actually is a way to tell if your version has that. If you look on the back of the disc on the inner ring, there's going to be a solo number, and if that number is a 1, that means you have a first press, and that has the crash. And if your number is like a 4, then you have the second press, and you're fine.
The crash is like, I don't think it's like completely consistent, because I had version 1 as a kid and I never crashed there, but I also know of people who have said like they've never been able to beat the game because they would always crash there. So I don't even know like what like the cause of any consistency there is.
Yeah, there were some theories about like number of boxes in the tunnel or something, and like it just I forget exactly how to avoid it, but in any event, this is Xbox, so that doesn't happen here.
Also, we're not gonna fight Dingo Dial as a spoiler, but
yeah. But coming up here is that cutscene that we went under earlier. It's still here.
Yeah.
So you have to.
I do have to get these first because
I forgot you didn't get these.
Yeah, there's a strat that Joe goes for here that I don't go for because it saves like 5 seconds and is really, really stupid.
But it's so cool.
It does look cool. I will give it that.
It's so cool. You should try it once just for the fans.
I have tried it. Oh, you're saying trying it in this run?
Yeah, just go for it.
I'll try it once.
Get the gem.
Yeah.
And it's only a few seconds.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
when like it doesn't work because it never works, then you just continue.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, so the cutscene trigger here is gigantic. And
huge. No,
I barely missed it.
I thought for sure that was going to work.
Yeah. I think I like touched the edge of it. So this is like a 40-second cutscene. We'll just watch it.
Scary, but in the wrong hands, this iceberg lair could do much.
So in the plot, this will make no sense because you're supposed to watch this right when you get to Hub 2, except we've already completed Hub 2. So, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
To be fair, I think this is like one of the first things about the plot we've seen in the run.
Follow me.
Yeah. Follow me. I know another way.
You actually don't see the game's antagonists in the run until the very end because they only show up in the final boss and the FMVs, which we've been skipping because you can skip FMVs. It's so funny though. Like I have people come into my chat and tell me it's like, oh, I want to watch this run, but I also want to play this game casually, so I don't want to pay too much attention. I'm just like, I promise you will not miss anything. Or you'll not have anything spoiled by watching a run of this.
I was very confused by that death abuse. I was like, wait, you have to the cutscene.
Yeah, we already watched it. So.
I was like, wait, no. Because I know if you skip the cutscene and do that, you're just like,
yeah, you have to skip the cutscene again.
You have to skip it again.
You monster!
So this is a cutscene we have to watch, and it has the best character in the series, Coco.
My crystals.
The dialogue in this game is fantastic. If anybody in chat has not played this game casually, I highly recommend it. It's so funny, and it's also really good.
Must be repaired, and only one person can help. My niece, Nina Cortex. Isn't she delightful?
So you have to, in this cutscene, although it looked like outside the lab we could just proceed, there are 2 floating platforms that don't actually appear until you watch this cutscene. So you have to come into the lab, watch this, and then walk, and then leave the lab in order to actually get to the next part of the game. Cortex is in the computer there, by the way. I always love pointing that out.
Also, this strat I'm about to do is doable on every version except for PAL PS2. All right, I'll do this once. It's like this one, right?
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay.
Easy. No, that was close.
So if that goes really bad, the trigger to activate the checkpoint at the start of this area is really big. So if that goes really bad, you can accidentally activate that, and then you got to go all the way back up.
Yeah, but the idea is that the idea is that you keep landing on the platform as it's falling, and it keeps resetting the timer to trigger the auto kill, and then you just land where the red gem is, and you just get it that way. And it saves like 5 seconds, but it's like probably one of the only genuinely inconsistent tricks in the run.
It's pretty dumb, but it looks cool when you get it.
Yeah, so we're supposed to kill some ants here with Cortex, but we're not going to. The game, if you were just standing at that window and Hub 3 is loaded, you can just die. So yeah, this is Hub 3. This is the Academy of Evil. For plot-related reasons, we have come here to recruit Cortex's niece, Nina. So we're just gonna get 5 of the hub's 6 gems right now. The last one you can't get until you actually complete the entire hub. So.
Out of bounds again, by the way. That wasn't as easy as it looked. Just jump on the door frame and jump and slam and boom.
Yeah, so this out of bounds, it has the double importance of it makes getting some of the gems a lot easier. It also lets us get into the second level of the hub very early, which will be very important. Yep. So this is Classic Chaos. We're gonna hit the checkpoint here. We're gonna leave the level, and I'm gonna disable autosave because this is another section where I do not want to accidentally save the game.
You also notice all these arrow boxes have spawned in. That's because Kylie was hitting a bunch of detonators and exclamation point boxes through the wall while out of bounds, which lets you basically skip all those puzzles.
Yep.
So all those platforms are already there. If you're wondering, like, hey, how'd those get there?
Yep. So that checkpoint is the last one we're going to break for about 4 minutes. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
There is exactly one checkpoint in the next level, Boiler Room Doom, that is hard to dodge, and fortunately it is at the very beginning of the level, and it's a save checkpoint, which is why I disabled autosave, because I really do not want to accidentally save in this level and then be trapped in it, because then we cannot skip Dingodile. Alright, so I'm just gonna get a lineup here. This world checkpoint has a huge cutscene trigger, and I did not hit it, so we're almost out of the clear.
Yeah, so the key with this level, as we set up Zombie here again, is all of the gems are before the boss. So if you can do the level without any checkpoints, you can get all the gems and death abuse out. So Zombie makes it so all the other checkpoints in the level don't activate, but you need to jump around the first one. And hilariously, this is a trick. This is something that got patched into the game. So if you try this on the original PS2 version of the game, you will just stand there and be stuck. But in the process of them fixing other stuff, they accidentally unfixed that. And so they added this in to the game. And that's very fortunate because this lets us go through the whole level. Again, Crash the Invincible, so the acid does nothing. And get all the gems, and then die, and then that will take us back out of the level because the last checkpoint we hit wasn't in here.
Yep.
And
this
then,
is the only mask in the level
on.
also, so we just have to weave around that. Yeah, basically Boiler is the only level in the run that we technically do not finish. Yeah, so using Zombie, we just get all the gems and leave. This is also the only level that is dramatically different in all levels compared to 100% because you have to finish the level in all levels as per the rules. So the strats in this level are completely different in that category.
Nice.
Okay. I at least didn't get. I didn't get the auto kill. At least I timed my jump for that.
I was saying nice because Cortex didn't get embedded in the gear and make you start over.
Yeah.
That can happen, and there's no way to make it not happen other than just pray it doesn't. So I'm glad that didn't happen to you there. That would have been very sad.
Yeah.
So I don't think we ever explained the auto kill. They don't just have death planes all over the place to kill you if you fall. If you just fall far enough, you'll die instead of going down and down.
Yeah, it's like a 1 to 1.5 second timer.
That's one of the other things that can kill you if you have zombie. I know Joe mentioned the Watchman earlier.
Yeah, it's the Watchman Tower and triggering the auto kill, and then those and getting a mask are how you leave zombie. You can also leave zombie by reloading the game.
So coming up here, there's 2 gems left in this level, purple and yellow. The purple gem is just kind of laying around here, so Kylie's just going to grab it. But the yellow gem is on the other side of a nasty puzzle, and what Kylie's going to do here is use Cortex as kind of a platform.
Try and knock away. Or we could die.
Oh, wow, that is extremely unfortunate.
This run's been good. I think I'll just go for it again.
Yeah, this run has been really clean. Might as well try again.
Yeah, if I had actually gotten the trick set up, I probably would have kept going with the death. But I was trying to move the bug back because I thought it was too close for the trick, but it didn't like that, I guess.
Yeah,
that's one more thing that can kill you as zombie, getting forcibly detached from Cortex.
Yeah.
Cortex just dying.
The GDQ Classic, I've never seen that before. Thankfully, we do have all the gems that I picked up already, so we don't have to get all those again. So hopefully we don't have to set this up again.
That setup was interesting. Maybe it's just been a while that setup has seemed different, but maybe it's probably better than whatever I've been doing.
For the bug, or
yeah, usually I just say like the hell with the bug, but
I've noticed that like
maybe that's a bad idea.
If the bug is like too close to the door, then Cortex respawns back to you too quickly. And I've had success where like if it's too close to the door, I push it away from me. And
interesting.
Which is what I was trying to do because I couldn't tell. It was like in that area where it might be too close, but I wasn't sure.
Interesting. Okay.
It didn't like it. So
yeah, those bugs are funky.
So once again, I'm just gonna so we have everything but the last two gems, so we don't have to do anything back there. Also confirming, yep, that checkpoint is still not broken. Yeah.
Always a good thing to check though.
So like I said, if I had done everything except for get the yellow gem, I probably would have just kept going.
You can actually make these platforms go up faster. There's the tunnel before this room has some Wumpa fruit in it, and if you spin them the right way, they can hit the trigger that make them come up. That saves like about 3 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's what I was trying to do with spinning the fruit, but I missed it both times.
It's pretty dumb as far like I haven't messed with it personally, but it seems pretty finicky, especially when you're trying to like roll the pipe Cortex, because unfortunately the round objects in this game are not really round. So they will just kind of bounce off of stuff because they're not actually spheres. So if you have, some jank collision that it hits, or it just hits a bump or something, it will not go the way you want it to go.
Yeah.
Which is very unfun.
The Wumpa Snipe, I get it decently enough, but I wouldn't say it's anything like super consistent. It's kind of just I go for it. If I get it, cool. If not, then it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well go for it. You already got to run past the Wumpa, so. Yeah. You also notice that Cortex is just like kind of reattaching in this level repeatedly. That's because there are a lot of triggers in this level like that, where the game will just, if you just keep going, the game will just immediately attach Cortex to you because it assumes that you wanted to have him, so it'll just give him back to you. There's a couple more of those. Like when Kylie enters the next big room, there'll be another one where Cortex will just appear attached to Crash, even though he's clearly nowhere near it.
All right, we'll try this again.
It looks like it was in a better spot.
Yeah, so hopefully this is fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So that's definitely further away.
It has to be like literally on the door for it to not work. So this is the scary part. I need to get Cortex to spawn there. We jump down to get the purple gem, pink gem, whatever, purple.
I was gonna say, it looked red. I was like, I know that's not the red.
It's the Spyro 1 debate. Is it purple or magenta? All right, and then we need to jump off of Cortex's head, which the game does not like. You're not supposed to be able to jump off of Cortex.
Yeah, you actually cannot jump off of Cortex. So, like they tried to prevent you from using him to cheese, but if you just walk off his head, you can jump. The problem is that he does idle animations, and when he does idle animations, his hitbox changes. So it's really hard to gauge the timing to jump off of him if he starts, dancing around or something stupid.
It's not cooperating.
I believe.
It's so scary to fall off here because you can just so easily dive. I'm just like, okay. it got patched in the past 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
There we go. And we're not out of the clear yet.
So that's just to get out of bounds. Now we have to actually get the gem. And we're going to get the gem from out of bounds because, as we stated earlier, gem hitboxes are humongous. Well, that was really close.
Yeah, I did not like that angle, which is why I didn't slide. All right, so the gem is right here. We just slide into it, and we're good. Okay, so
Bingo. We
probably lost like 5-ish minutes there or more. But you'll notice that my estimate is 125. My PB in this game is 112.22. The estimate is that big because things like that can happen. And because this is the last run of today, I figured it would be okay to have a super generous estimate.
Yeah. So you'll also notice that after doing all that, Kylie just respawned in this level, and you're like, wait, we didn't enter this level, but we did, because during the out of bounds at the start of Academy of Evil, we out of bounds into this level and hit the checkpoint and made that the last checkpoint we hit. So after the death abuse, we just spawn here, which is, this level is normally opened after you beat Dingo Dial, but by just hitting the checkpoint and then doing all that junk in Boiler, when you die after getting all the gems, you can just continue more or less as if you had beaten Dingo Dial, because this is where you would end up anyways, and then you can just continue as normal.
On the alternate route, you do that with multiple other levels as well, like Ice Climb and High Seas.
Yeah. I don't know why I grabbed that life when I have 10 of them already, but just to be safe, I guess.
Yeah, do you want to turn autosave back on?
I'm going to do it after the library. Yeah, that was a terrible setup for that long jump. Sometimes the camera just like really fights you.
Nice. I always love that long jump around the bookcase. Like one of my favorite things in this level.
A lot of the it's a lot of the little things in the run that makes it so cool.
Those guys with the flashlights, by the way, are supposed to see you. But if you just slide jump, you can just get past them because they're really slow.
Yeah, they're like the Trisman in Totem Hogum. Right. This room is the reason I haven't turned autosave back on yet. If you, on the Xbox version, if you game over here, bad things happen, so...
Yeah, this room, if you, this is not how you're supposed to do the room. I'll just put it that way. You're not supposed to just go straight up the room, but that's what Kylie's going to do here, instead of going around and around and around, which is what you're supposed to do. But because, again, there's just collision everywhere, nice. Okay, hello. Okay.
Got this gem here, and then I'll set up the autosave here. Because loading in from the next room is fine, even though it's the section coming up is a Cortex section, but for some reason Crash is still loaded into it. So
yeah, should also bring that up. So coming up, you have to switch to Cortex, except for the part where you do not.
Yeah.
And we are not going to do that because Cortex is very, very slow. He is just a terrible character. And so we're just going to not play as him by using this door to get out of bounds. Again, very easy. And then just jumping over the cutscene that would switch you.
Why'd you say something?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Take it from here.
All right. Thankfully, if you hit this cutscene, you can just death abuse and try it again.
Make sure its mooring ropes are secure.
Yeah, so...
well, does it put you in the room?
It puts you in the room with the last checkpoint. So we just have to do this again.
Oh, it puts you here. Okay, I thought it put you in the big room, which would have been no problem anyways. You could have got to it.
Yeah. Something that I get asked frequently, since I do speedrun basically the entire Crash series, which includes Crash 4, Cortex is playable in that game too, and he's the most contentious character in the game. So people ask me if I prefer what is this camera? If I prefer Twinsanity Cortex or Crash 4 Cortex, and as somebody who loves this game to death and constantly goes to bat for how good it is, Crash 4 Cortex is so much better.
The Cortex in this game is, I'll just go with pathetic, I think is the correct word. He's really there's just nothing there.
Yeah, he's slow and clunky and it's not really platforming, it's just shooting, and that's it.
Very important there to land on the corner of that door frame, or that would have soft locked the game, by the way.
Yeah, that skipped a forced fight with a bunch of frogs, question mark. All right, there we go.
So I was afraid you were going to get stuck, which is...
Yeah, so
which is
if you
always
just
epic.
see all this, imagine doing this as Cortex. Where you just have to shoot things to get obstacles out of the way. It's just so much better with Crash. And also, there's a lot of out of bounds you can do with Crash.
Yeah. Also, Cortex, he has this like dive move, and it's not good.
Yeah.
At all. So you don't want to use it. You just have to kind of walk and keep walking. It's very good.
The only thing it's really used for is getting to cutscenes slightly faster.
Yeah.
So by the way, this game has a lot of broken stuff. Here's a wrong warp. Yeah, that was a wrong warp.
Yeah.
Just warp 2 rooms ahead. If you turned around, you would see that Crash should just teleported forward 2 rooms. There is nothing special you need to do that. You just get teleported.
So this last frog room we do have to do just because the yellow gem is in the room after it and we can't get back in bounds from there. So we hit that checkpoint and then...
All right, everyone count to 24 here. I don't know what the delay is on the chat, so it might take a while. So to advance out of this room, you need 30 frogs to spawn. Like, only 6 can be on the screen at a time, so you have to kill 24 of them. That seemed really fast. I don't know if I just wasn't counting. Evidently, I wasn't.
I killed 25.
10.
So.
I thought you were at like 10.
I killed 25, but I missed a lot of them, so I think the last one spawned in faster. Yeah, so the stuff is happening. Cortex is supposed to be talking in this cutscene, but since he's not with us, he's not saying anything.
Yeah, so someone mentioned Xbox, like playing this backwards compatibility. If you hit this, if you play this game on 360, this cutscene is in like you lose like 30 seconds plus on this cutscene alone because the frame rate is so bad. So yeah, it is playable, but it's not good.
I think you could get away with playing any percent on Xbox 360 nowadays, but
yeah, you don't have to come in here. It's good, but yeah,
it's still laggy in other parts of the game, so it's still better to just play on the original Xbox. Yeah, any percent for this game is like 11 minutes long for frame of reference. You do a bunch of skips to get to the last level, and then you do the last level.
Hurry, Nina, or you'll miss the bus!
It's currently theoretically possible to get sub 10 minutes.
yeah. I think the record's like 10:15 or something right now. It's crazy low.
Yeah. Every time we think it's done, more stuff just keep getting found.
Yeah. This is the game that keeps on giving.
Any percent ran out of things to do to get to the last level faster, so now they're just doing things to do the last level faster.
Wait, 10 years ago, the record was 27 and it was unbeatable. So, now it's 10 and beatable, maybe.
Yeah.
So, kind of the story with this game.
Yeah, so this is Rooftop Rampage, by the way. This is another one of the more normal levels of the run. There's nothing too broken about it. There's like a couple things you can do, but mostly this is pretty straightforward, just playing as Nina. I don't know why I'm getting life still, but
You're gonna. It's for all the attempts at the scenery.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm totally gonna I'm gonna go for it more than once. Totally. I actually had a run recently where I did start going for it multiple times just for the hell of it, and I lost like 3 minutes there. And
oh yeah, yeah. Like, it's terrible.
I was like, that's a 116, but it would have been a 113 if I just didn't do that. We got a pitch up on Xbox for the gem sound, so it sounded like The Price is Right.
There's also an extra gem in this level. And if you look in the background in a specific spot.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's a classic. I love when that happens.
I haven't had that happen in so long.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's like right next to a checkpoint.
Yeah. Normally, those ants just run into all that stuff, and it's not there, but...
I was trying to hit the bell and the rats, but I hit one rat and no bell. And there's a little sneak preview to one of the only like techs that Nina has, which is double jumping, which she's not supposed to be able to do. But there's a frame after you do a hook jump where you can jump in the air. This room is like really laggy on Xbox, so that's why I'm moving the camera around.
They made the trigger for some of these checkpoints way too big, so you saw earlier she could just walk off the edge and hit it across the gap.
Yeah, it's faster.
The world checkpoints specifically are huge.
Yeah,
huge
it's faster than hitting the like weather vanes to like just walk over to them. And then at the beginning of the level, it just skips just walking around because it just triggers the moment you walk outside. So you just walk off in death abuse.
So in the background right there is the extra gem. If you look in the distance, you can kind of see one.
So coming up is the strat.
It's a good strat. It's also a bad strat. Because
it's super precise.
It's frame perfect. And if you get it, it saves like 8 seconds, and if you miss it, it loses like 30. And in fact, if you're actually going full optimal and you missed it, it would lose more like a minute because you would have skipped that last checkpoint. That's right, I believe. Here we go. Here it comes.
I'm nice with
early, I think.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I am
Easy.
oddly like kind of good at that.
I thought the jump was a little early, but
so
it worked. So
the window where Nina can double jump is very small. If you do the jump too early, you'll get an auto kill, which for Cortex and Nina just looks like them falling over dead, as opposed to like the fade out that Crash gets. If you do it too late, you just miss the double jump window and just fall to your death. So that's why that's such a scary trick to do. It's generally
or you just don't even make it.
Yeah, it's generally only done as like a last resort. There is also a cutscene skip for this. I don't know how to do it, so I didn't do it. Sorry, Rijiku. But it would skip this. It would make it so that this bus doesn't spawn in, so you don't have to worry about outrunning it. This is another, honestly, somewhat difficult chase section casually. If you slow down at all, the bus like usually catches up with you.
Yeah.
It is easier than Rusty Walrus, though.
Skipping that cutscene actually saves more on PS2, because on PS2 you have to death abuse after this chase, because there's a chance the game will just crash later on.
Yeah, it gets overloaded.
There's like too much stuff loaded.
Yeah, it gets overloaded by all the Wumpa fruit that the bus breaks, and if there's no bus, then it doesn't break everything, so there's no fruit. On Xbox, it doesn't matter, so...
It's a shame, because on PS2 you can do the super swag death abuse, where if you press down the frame you touch the ground, you just shoot right into the gap, and it's pretty sick. So, lesson in good game design here, that checkpoint after the bus is the only checkpoint before this boss. In an earlier version of the game, there was a checkpoint here, and they removed it for reasons unknown to any living thing on Earth. So don't die here, but you kind of can't die here, so it's no biggie.
So if you're doing the all levels category, it's even worse, because the last checkpoint you touched was the one before the bus chase.
Yeah, because
because you jump on the bus.
There's an all levels exclusive trick called Bus Ride, where you just go across the other side on the bus with invincibility. But yeah, this is Madame Mamberly. Casually, she's honestly a pretty tough fight, but check this out.
Yeah, Cortex wins by doing absolutely nothing.
I remember a really old CTR guide I read. He was comparing the game to like Mario Kart, and it said Cortex was the equivalent to Luigi if Luigi was very evil. And I was like, you know what, that checks out with this, because he wins by doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so if you stand between two of the organ pipes here, Madame Amberly is not smart enough to know that when you get pushed over onto the next one, that you're not on the one that she's still zapping. So by touching quite literally nothing, she will just continue to zap the same pipe over and over and over again. So you don't have to keep running back and forth and shooting the pipes closed. Which is one of the reasons that actually doing this boss the way you're supposed to is challenging, because that's not as easy as it sounds usually. And Kylie's just standing on this side because this is the side towards the exit of the arena. And so by standing here, she'll be able to catch the elevator right after the boss fight, because it will be right here.
Yep.
Which will save a little bit of time.
This boss fight is also the trigger for being able to leave the hub, so it is mandatory to beat her.
Yeah. Well, you can leave, but you can't go to hub 4.
Actually, did not know you could leave. I thought you were stuck here.
You can hit the airship and it'll take you back, but you can't do anything. It just it doesn't trigger hub 4. So, but I'm reasonably confident if you just hit the airship without beating her, it'll take you back to hub 2.
Okay.
But casually, you can't possibly do that.
Oh, so, because the way to leave is unlocked by beating her. It's just that we can get there here by doing scenery stuff.
Yeah, casually you can't get back up here, so.
So we have one more gem to collect before we leave. We cannot catch that cycle, so this is just a free life that doesn't lose any time.
Which is good because we're about to use it.
Yep. Gonna get this and hopefully get an auto kill. All right. The past few runs I've been messing that up and had the death abuse on the nitros, so that was nice. And then that just saves us time of hitting the, like riding the elevator because the trigger for the airship is just that big.
Yeah, it's humongous.
All right. Oh, I had it. There we go. Swag crouch.
Oh, swag crouch. Styling on him a little bit.
Yep. This is actually important for the other routes of the game and any percent.
That is a strat. Well, it wasn't. It was a dumb 2012 thing, and now it's a strat.
And now it's useful.
So.
All right, so there's a cutscene skip coming up here that hopefully I can get. I've been kind of inconsistent at it recently.
Come now as we explore.
Does this trick here now work on Xbox as often?
I think it might be more finicky, but I'm not sure. Sometimes you just spawn in a place where you're just like right on the cutscene.
Okay.
There we were fine. And also, thankfully, on Xbox, the moment you leave the building, the checkpoint just automatically triggers, so I can just jump off like this.
Yeah, so Kyle was actually on the wrong side of the lab there, but he was sliding on the elevator, very brave. But the checkpoint is on the other side of the lab, but since you spawn near that side, you can just leave and die, and then it'll put you on the perfect side. The reason I said that slide was brave is I think it was Smartkin once just slid onto that elevator and his game froze immediately. So
I wonder if that's like a PS2 thing, because I've never had that happen on Xbox.
Probably. I've never attempted it because I've just heard the never slide onto that elevator.
Yeah.
And so I just never did. So this slide, unlike the other slide, you can jump around this cutscene, but if you get on the slide, it doesn't actually put you in the slide. And that it is possible to go down most of the slide on foot, and actually is kind of fun, but it's not fast. So we have to watch this cutscene where Crash is, looking at the Cortex booty there. And here we go.
So this is
alert, by the
probably the easiest level in the run, but I also think it's one of the most like BS ones where like there's a lot of stuff that happens here that you just cannot control. It's not as bad as Cavern, but I've had many runs die here just to dumb things.
Once you get the green gem, it's the easiest level in the game.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Because that first gem, there's so many enemies and the collision is weird that you can easily miss it. But once you get that, you're usually pretty home clear.
Yeah, I don't contest that it's like an easy level. It's just some weird nonsense happens to me a lot here.
360 cam here for the fans at home.
Sure.
Swag.
And a jump.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Playing with fire now.
Okay.
Getting over that TNT wall is actually pretty hard. So you'll notice this one here, that last one was a whole row higher, and the middle one was an extra TNT higher. So it's actually pretty hard to get in there. Even casually, you just kind of run into it and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to get in there? But
yeah, all the gems are like front loaded though, so the entire back half of this level is just nothing. Which is,
all the gems. That was the last gem.
It's the opposite of Slip Slide, where there's like one gem at the beginning and then everything's at the end.
The game also tells you that this level is a race, and it's very much not. Because it's also not winnable anyways, even if it's...
Yeah, you'll probably notice that Evil Crash has been rubber banding every time we get close to him.
He's been teleporting too. He just kind of disappears and reappears in front of you.
Yeah, that's Evil Crash, by the way. We skipped the cutscene where he was introduced. But at the beginning of the level, he kidnaps Nina. So.
Yeah, you're so soft.
And the cutscene is so good, but it's like the best worst thing to like fail the skip on, because on one hand you get to watch the cutscene, but on the other hand you're losing like 30 seconds.
That's basically the story of this game.
Oh yeah,
he has a hurt box in this level, so he can randomly like bump you into a hole or something. He's done some crazy stuff to me.
I'm doing an interesting route for this level that is not one that Joe does.
Yeah, I was like, well, this isn't the first gem. By the way, this is the worst puzzle in the game.
Look at that puzzle. Just to get a frame of reference. It's miserable. You have to carry that ball all across the platform above you.
Just gag a little bit while you look at it. Then gag even more when you realize that worked.
Yeah. The first time I did the puzzle as intended, I think it took me like 30 minutes.
Yeah, or you can take 4 seconds and body slam on the force field.
Yep, if you just have a minimum height body slam, you just hit the gems through the force fields.
There they are. Let her go.
Let her go. Take me instead. Ah. Hopefully I synced that up pretty well.
You were like a half a second off, but...
that's not bad. I'll blame that on stream delay.
Yeah. So this is another gem skip. This one doesn't save too much time. I think it's in the realm of like 15 seconds, but you just body slam under it. All right, so the level coming up is Bandicoot Pursuit. It's kind of like Totem Hokum in that it's a chase auto-scroller where you protect Cortex from Evil Crash and everything in the way. Much like Totem Hokum, we don't want to do it because it's slow. The route I'm doing actually bypasses most of the bulk of Bandicoot Pursuit itself. And it's like 1 second faster and or slower than the normal route. So it doesn't really...
I was very confused by this route. I had no idea where it was going.
Yeah, it doesn't save or lose any time really from the testing that has been done by multiple people. I find this one more tolerable because if you make a mistake, you don't lose like a huge amount of time. Because if you die in this side-scrolling section, you have to do at least part of the Cortex chase. But here you can just grab that first gem because there's 2 gems. There's one at the start of the chase and one at the end. So you can just grab it, Death Abuse, come back to Twinsanity Island, and then just get the rest of the gems here. And then you can do a skip to take the route that's supposed to let you backtrack here, and it just takes you right to the start of the last level, and then you just do the remainder of Bandicoot Pursuit backwards. And again, it's no significant time difference. There's like 4 or 5 different routes for this level that are all like roughly the same in terms of like how long they take. So which one you do is honestly just personal preference. So get this gem. We cheesed like every single puzzle in this hub so far. It's very clear that by the time they got to this hub, they were very out of time to finish the game. So everything's just kind of thrown in.
Getting that red gem without dying, by the way, is not as easy as it looked.
It's the only part of this route that I don't like is that gem.
Yeah, but if you die there, it's really bad.
Yeah, dying there still loses less time than dying in like the middle of the chase, though.
Yeah. Right. So this tunnel, you're supposed to take it backwards from the last level, but we can just take, and you're actually not supposed to be able to take it in this direction because there's no way to get up here normally. The game has a lot of these tunnels that let you kind of bypass levels. To like kind of backtrack and stuff. You don't see them really in this category because we have to go through every level anyways. But this one is useful for this route, as Kylie said, to basically skip all of this level, this Bandicoot Pursuit level, by just kind of going into the entrance and then going backwards in the exit. And nice. And just getting the gems that way, and then not actually going through the level.
And then another nice thing is that because we came from this side, we can actually hit the exclamation point that triggers that arrow crate. On the normal route, you use the rocks to like body slam up to the top and grab the gem, which isn't hard, but it can be a little funky. And then there's
2 more gems to get. There's this one tucked away here.
Trying to dodge this checkpoint trigger right there. If I hit that checkpoint, it's not the biggest deal. It just loses like 10 seconds. But we want to respawn closer to the start of the next level. You can do some fancier movement there, but I was a little uneasy on it, so I took it safe. So yeah, we just grabbed
I'm amazed that this is that close on time, just intuitively. By the way, that water didn't exist there. Yeah. That's why Crash just fell through nothing. Intuitively, it's interesting. And it is cool that it is basically the same time, whether you go through the level or not.
Yeah, Sloss, years ago, he came up with it for me because my old Xbox controllers would all dead zone when I was moving left. So the chase was miserable for me because it's all going left. So he came up with this route, and he was like, it's about the same time. And then like he tested it, I tested it, and G-Pro tested it, and we all came within like 1 second of it.
Interesting.
Being faster or slower. So I actually
Very
wasn't
cool.
doing it for a while, but when I started running the game again a few weeks ago, I was struggling with Bandicoot Pursuit. I was like, let me just do the other route.
There you go.
So
This is the last level, by the way.
despite the fact
best
that
one.
like the rest of this hub is rushed to all hell, this level is so good. This is, in my opinion, the best level in the entire series.
It's also in the game. It's probably the one that's actually put together the best. There's not a whole lot of nonsense you can do here. In terms, like, you can't really go out of bounds and make it useful.
You can do that,
but you can use the bomb there to freeze it in there as a platform, which is very cool.
I don't know why I slid that. I was
gonna say
I was supposed to spin and my brain got mixed up there.
I thought it was gonna make it anyway. So
Yeah, that's what I
that's
thought too.
just throw some style in there.
Yeah, the bomb freeze strat that I did there is possible on every version except for PAL PS2 because the bomb throwing ants AI is broken on PS2 and they just walk forward without picking the bombs back up. But there, it's if an ant bomb or bomb ant tries to pick up a bomb and you slide it into the air, it just freezes in place, and then you can just use it as a platform to skip that section. See if I can get a fast cycle here. I'm pretty out of practice in this level. When I was like super actively running this game back in the end of 2023, I actually managed to get the calm gold in this level for like 48 hours, and then DL got a better time.
I don't know what any of these cycles are, so I have no idea if you're on pace for a good cycle. This actually looks exactly the same.
It's a little slow. All right, we're fine. Just had the slide jump. Yeah, that was actually a very good cycle.
So this is the first ant fight. You have to kill 4 ants here. There are 5.
They are being very
is
disrespectful.
This is
There we go.
generally how it goes here, is they just don't attack you when you want them to. Nice third mask form. Which is kind of useless in this game, as we said. Even if Kylie walked into those nitros right there, they would still kill her.
Yeah, it is useful for one strat in all levels, which is the bus ride we were talking about in Rooftop, because it lets you stand on the bus without taking damage. But that is the only time it's useful, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean it's like helpful, but not necessarily like useful.
It's also at its shortest in this game. Like in most Crash games, third mask lasts for 20 seconds. In Wrath of Cortex, it lasts 10. In this game, I think it lasts 8. So it's like, not only is it significantly weaker, it also just doesn't last as long.
Swag strat there.
Yeah.
By the way, use the ant as a platform. Everything's a platform in this game. To just get to somewhere you're not supposed to, like the outer walls of the room here. Ooh, landed on the checkpoint. Damn, that's impressive.
I wasn't supposed to jump there. It's fine. It just lost like a second. I meant to just slide into the pit to die, but I guess I jumped by mistake.
So there's another ant fight here that we're not going to do, which is good because I think you have to kill like 20 ants or something. It's some crazy high.
It's really long, and they keep spawning even after the trigger finishes. So if you're not paying attention, you can just stay there for like minutes and be like, why isn't this ending? I'm not speaking from experience, of course.
Color skill.
I should have long jumped. I went
so close.
Yeah, you can either long jump with like precise timing, or you can do a slide jump there and make this cycle. I was just a little late on the slide jump.
Yeah, the long jump, the edge that you're long jumping off of is actually the platform disappearing underneath you usually, depending on your positioning, which it can be very swag, but if you don't press the jump button at the right time, you will just die.
Something we didn't mention is that long jumps do carry over into another slide jump. So if you slide jump and then slide jump again at the ledge, that does get the long jump momentum.
And then you can long jump after.
Yep.
That jump is the worst jump in the game, and I will die on that hill.
It's fair.
I doubt anyone agrees, but I have died so many times on that jump that, that's the worst one, even though it's not actually hard.
Antagony is one of those levels where, especially if you run any percent, you kind of just get used to all of the stuff in it, because in any percent specifically, if you die at any point in this level, the game crashes. So anybody who's like proficient in any percent is just very good at this level.
Nice cycle there, by the way. That was the fastest cycle, not having to wait here. And this cycle
Nice jump.
starts. This cycle starts like when you enter this big room. So you have to do a lot of stuff before here to get a leading up to this. All right, one time, I believe. Here it is.
Ball witch. No.
Damn.
For a moment, I thought.
Time to reset.
Just start the whole run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if the game lags on the frame that the ball is supposed to go into a socket, we can get what's called ball glitch, where the ball doesn't go into the socket, but the socket still activates. And it is only useful in this room because it lets us respawn the ball and use it for another puzzle and just skip one of these two right here. It saves like 5 or 6 seconds and is super inconsistent, but if you get it, it's always cool. I also think it's more common on PS2 because PS2 just lags more.
Yeah, it's I kind of sort of have a strat where you jump on the ball first and it makes the dust cloud appear, and then you spin the ball and the dust cloud causes some lag. That generally kind of sort of helps you get it, but not really.
So who likes Spyro the Dragon? Too bad we're not going to see him.
Not us.
You
Not us.
saw him
We don't
earlier
like Spyro
tonight.
here.
You don't have to see him again.
Yeah, we don't like Spyro here.
I love Spyro. Shout outs to the Spyro through run earlier tonight. That was actually very fun to watch. But yeah, so that's a cutscene that has a Spyro cameo in it. Basically, the 3 scientists that you fought earlier in the game, allegedly. Actually, no, we did actually fight all 3 of them. They come to claim the evil twins' treasure, and Spyro torches them. I'm also just going to confirm 93%. That means we have everything because the evil twins are the last 7. We didn't miss anything. That's crazy.
Huge. Actual 100% run in a marathon.
And those are the evil twins. This is the first time we've seen them.
I just realized, is this going to be a 116?
With redo and boiler.
On the...
It's going to be a damn good time.
On the... what I'm seeing on stream, it says like 120. But...
Oh, 120. I'm looking at
I mean, it would be...
Oh, that's the actual time. It's 1:16 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going to be a really good time with having to redo boiler, which was probably
that boiler
4 minutes.
Redo probably was in the realm of like 6 minutes because having to redo like basically the entire level and then the skip not cooperating at the end for a good minute or 2. So.
By the way, casual players, just hold jump and grapple on all those hooks and you'll never fall down.
Yeah,
I see that complaint all the time, and I'm sure we all see that complaint all the time. Just hold both buttons and you win.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with it casually too. Learning that you had to hold the buttons was a lifesaver. So yeah, this is a multi-stage boss fight. You do the first part with Nina, you do the second phase with Cortex.
This part's also substantially faster on Xbox because you can fire faster. Like the game will just let you press the fire button. It will just take more inputs. And the strat here is to kill the cannon because the machine gun can't actually hit you if you're standing right here.
And then last phase coming up, so time will be on the 4th hit here. And hopefully I get the fast strat here. And no mecha glitch. No mecha glitch, okay. All right, cool, I got it. All right.
Nice.
And
this strat is hilarious.
Time.
Nice run.
Nice.
Love that strat. That's a fairly recent-ish find where you can just kind of stand in one spot instead of having a dance around the force fields.
Yeah, you hold like down left on the right analog stick, which pushes the Mecha Bandicoot to be looking up even though the camera is locked. And then you walk forward a little bit and just mash the fire button and it goes through the force field. But yeah, that was, boiler room aside, a very good run.
That was a damn good run.
Yeah, it says 122 on the stream. So if you factor in the 6 minutes, that'd be like 116, which I think is, honestly very good for resetless in this game.
That's really, really good.
Yeah. So
underestimate is all you can really ask for with this game.
Yep. And this is one of my favorite songs in the game. If you can hear it, it's just the game's entire soundtrack is a cappella, and in this part, one guy in the background is just going mek 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 mek.
Is this one? Is it pitch? Is it the correct speed here?
Yeah.
When you
so
put it It's the faster speed here.
We never mentioned that I was running on PAL. Yeah, it's optimal to run this game at 50 frames per second, which on PS2 is only PAL. On Xbox, NTSC and PAL can both be run at 50 if you're playing on a PAL Xbox. I'm running the PAL version specifically because there's like a 2-second desync earlier in the run that might as well not deal with it.
If you play on NTSC and you slide and you move the stick while you're sliding, you'll go the wrong direction. And it's really annoying to play with that.
Yeah, so that's
even if you know to avoid it, it's just annoying. So it's just better to not.
Yeah.
So,
and there's also like some strats at like top level in any percent and on the other routes where like you do need 50 FPS for them to be consistent. So over time, it's actually just been basically mandatory. But yeah, that was Crash Twinsanity. This is a really awesome speed game that I'm happy to have finally been able to show on a GDQ, even Hotfix. This game and this run are honestly incredible. If you haven't played it, I would definitely recommend it. It's very fun, even in the very buggy state that it's in. It's actually really impressive if you know the development history of this game and how troubled it was. It's super impressive it came out as good as it did. This is genuinely like top 3, like tied first favorite Crash game for me. But yeah, thank you to GDQ Hotfix for having me again. I was actually on Hotfix like a month or 2 ago for Crash 4, so I was happy to be asked again to do Twinsanity. Thank you to Dio and Joe for helping me with commentary. This is a very hard game to commentate, so having 2 people to help me explain stuff was very helpful.
Yeah, this is a really hard game to. It's a hard game to just play. Forget play and talk about it at the same time. So that was a great job by Kylie there.
Yeah.
And if anyone watching wants to learn it, speedrun.com/Twinsanity.
Yeah, I've always.
That's your place to go.
People have asked me like how hard this run is. I've always been upfront and said that this is probably the hardest category of any game that I've ever learned, but is also by far the most rewarding. It is just easily my favorite speedrun to do. And it's crazy to think about. I've been running this game for over 5 years now, which is surreal to think about. And so yeah, if anybody wants to watch more of me, you can follow me. I am Kylie QB on all socials. The one exception is on YouTube. There's a second I because I couldn't get the actual tag for some reason. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitch, Blue Sky. On my stream, I've actually been grinding this again for the first time in a year and a half. I got super burnt out on it back in 2023 and took like a huge break from it, but I've been coming back and I've been trying to improve it. I've been running on this route, but once I get another PB, I do plan on switching to one of the harder routes that uses the cursed splash we talked about. There's 2 variations of it, and I will be switching to one of those. If you guys want to shout yourselves out, go ahead.
Yeah, I stream like never. You can follow me anyways, but you might catch me like once every 3 months, and it'll probably be some PlayStation jank. Could be this, could be some other game you've never heard of, but feel free to swing by.
Normally, I would also say that I almost never stream, but actually it started up again recently, and I'm also doing Twinsanity 100%.
It's a great speed run. I feel like for a while, like a lot of the active runners just all went inactive at the same time. So I think it's nice that a bunch of us are coming back now too. Yeah, I do speedrun many other games besides this. Most of the other main series Crash games are on my radar. I do speedrun a couple other games in other series like Kingdom Hearts, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses, Spyro 1. But right now, Twinsanity is my main focus, but I do actually play a bunch of variety. So if that sounds interesting to you, just go ahead and feel free to drop me a follow. But otherwise, shout outs to GDQ for having us again. And I think that is all for me.
Of course. Thank you so much for that amazing run. That was really, really cool to watch. I just got to hang back and watch you all do your thing. But thank you so much again for that Crash Twinsanity run. But without further ado, y'all, it's late, I'm tired, and that is going to be it for Hidden Heroes. Once again, just some quick announcements. Again, this is the last episode of Hidden Heroes that is going to be in this time slot. We're going to be moving next week to Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'm going to be switching, doing a little bit of a switcheroo with Awfully Silly. So I hope to see you there. Make sure you update your calendars, whatever. Make sure you catch the show in its new time slot. Also, keep an eye out for the SGDQ games list, which is going to be coming out on Thursday. I'm very, very excited to see the games that are on that list. But yeah. If you missed any of the runs from today, either from Perilous Pass or from Hidden Heroes, make sure you stay tuned for the replay, as we're going to be replaying both shows after this. But other than that, remember, my friends, you are all great and you're all heroes. Good night, and we will see you tomorrow for more live GDQ Hotfix. Good night, everybody.